Welcome to Gamers Without Borders. Watch, game, learn, and donate. And happy to have you all here for this charity Rainbow Six Siege tournament. I am Jackie Jing, and Bubu, my amazing operating system, is bringing me close to your camera. Hello, hello. How are you all doing? And I'm very excited to be here. I was just hanging out with Jacob and Jess, my girl, and now we are bringing Jessie into the mix. Bubu, here we go. Bring them up. Thank you. Okay. Jessie, happy to have you here. Yay. Now it's a party. How you feeling?
I'm feeling good, Jackie. We got the whole NA squad back together. We're riding in on these arms, too. I like it. We got actually a really sick set here, so this should be fun.
Getting this desk back together for the first time since Sweden, when it was the whole J desk again. It was the NAL desk that never happened, and now it's happened again. So we really just can't escape one another, it seems like.
The triple J desk, and it's kind of funny because Jess is also our other analyst, so it's just the J desk. Apparently, we're amazing, we're awesome. But okay, let's talk about this competition. We got 3 regions competing: Europe, North America, Latin America, and let's take a closer look at our competitors. Okay, so we just watched Heroic versus Wild, and that was wild. Haha, Jacob, you love my puns. And then Rogue lost to Victus, Jacob. Just talk to me about the European bracket. What are you thinking so far?
I mean, it's definitely flipped on its head, though. I think in competition spaces like this, where you've got teams that have lower expectations on them, they're still very dangerous, and it might be a case where the higher tier teams, the ones that got invited to this competition, might overlook the skill level or the preparedness of some of these lower teams. So in the case of Latin America, like we're about to jump into, if you are Escolinha, Bubu, or Furious Gaming, I'd say there's probably more of a chance that they could do well here if MIBR and FaZe Clan underestimate what they might do.
And we have our 2 NA experts here now. And Jesse, I want to pick your brain about NA a little bit. So definitely looking forward to SSG versus Parabellum. And then we got Gaming Gladiators versus Leftovers. So what are you thinking about the NA scene here?
I mean, I think the NA, to be frank, should go to SSG. They should be the safe picks. Obviously, Parabellum just making a couple of roster changes and not being the strongest team in North America throughout the last stage. And then we have a Challenger League team from Gaming Gladiators and Leftovers who just qualified to CL. Obviously, upsets are possible. I'm sure people would have made the same predictions about Europe in the first games today. But still, NA, I feel like should be going SSG's way. We'll see, though.
Okay, we shall see. And as we were saying, we just got through our Europe matchups for today, but let's look at the LATAM bracket. We're about to move into that. So let's roll that up here. And Jacob, what are you thinking as we move into this FaZe Clan? By the way, you killed Escolinha Bubu. You said that like right on point. I was like, okay.
Well, it actually does mean something for those who don't know. Escolinha Bubu, it stands for Bubu's Little School, and Bubu is the nickname of Budega from Xset, their coach. So that's where the name for that team came from. It's a squad. You can call it a pub stack if you want, but a group of guys who have competitive experience, went through the qualifiers, maybe didn't expect to make it to this stage, but they still have, and now they're competing against a team that literally just was 3rd place at the Six Invitational only 3 months ago. So no pressure on them, obviously, but it still should be pretty good.
Yeah, and then Jesse, tell me, what are you thinking about the other matchup that we got in Stream B?
Yeah, the Furious MIBR game should be a lot of fun. That's going to be the Argentina team, actually, Furious, coming forward and trying to take on MIBR, who are another squad that didn't quite make the major from Brazil. Both them and FaZe were very, very, very close to making Copa Elite 6 and then likely making the major, but unfortunately just missed out on it. I think that'll be a tough game for the Argentinians, but hey, I mean, they could obviously do it, and they could pull us some upsets for sure. I think we've got a lot of great teams down in this South American bracket.
Yeah, for sure. And make sure to pull up that Stream B screen and then also have us on Stream A here. So let's dial in on Stream A, FaZe versus Escolinha. We're going to move into the map selection process in a hot minute here. So, all right, what are we anticipating? What do we think? Here's the information popping up. What do y'all think?
All right, well, Chalet Border starting off here. Now, Escolinha Bubu have played last stage in sort of the Tier 2 competitions, Liga 6 and Copa de Brazil, so we do have a little bit of info from them. Border was a map that they banned in their one and only game of Copa de Brazil, so it kind of is an expected ban. As well for FaZe Clan, Chalet is a map that they do like to ban pretty often. I remember back at SI, they played a little bit against like Rogue and Cyclops, but they do like to ban that pretty often. Oregon, another one that they will play. FaZe are not a team that don't have a deep map pool. They play a lot of maps, but Oregon's one that they'll ban pretty frequently. And then Theme Park coming through a ban from Escolinha de Bubu. Not one that we've seen from them before, but clearly not fading this map. One of 3 new maps as well. So both of the bans from Escolinha coming through as new maps in the pool. We're then going to get our 2 picks coming through. Bank from FaZe Clan. Very good with this map. They have been for a long time, and it's one that Escolinha immediately banned in their one and only game in Copa do Brazil. So it's clearly not one that they favored back then. That wasn't too long ago. Might be a tough one for them. And then Kafe. Shocking they take FaZe here. FaZe Clan is a very good Kafe team.
Though to be fair, FaZe haven't played Kafe, I think, in quite some time. It might have been something that they played back at SI, but in stage 1 of BR6 have yet to touch it. So it's something they've been kind of reluctant to worry about. And this is just the thing, when you have so many maps you have to ban out in just a best of 3, sometimes there will be some that kind of slip through the cracks. So for Escolinha, it's cool to see a Kafe come into the picture. No skyscraper, no clubhouse. We go back to Villa. I'd still kind of give this one, not just because of the 2 teams involved, but this is another map that FaZe over the past 3 months have enjoyed quite a lot, played it 3 times, won it twice. As far as Escolinha is concerned, you just don't have the same reputation on a map like this. Remember, this is the map where we did see, what was it, 11-9, if memory serves, back at the Sweden Major Grand Finals that we saw FaZe Clan manage to eke out the overall series win, so this one should be pretty darn good.
Okay, so we got the solidified Bank, Kafe, Villa. All right, prediction time. Jesse, what are you thinking?
I mean, how do you not go FaZe here? Escolinha de Bubu,
Yeah.
I will say, looked very good in the tier 2 scene in Brazil this stage. I think they're one of those teams that on the come up could be looking to qualify next year, but still against FaZe Clan, especially picking Kafe. FaZe Clan are on a 6-map win streak on Kafe. I just don't see them losing that second map, and then their map pick as well you got to give to them. So I'm going to say FaZe in 2.
I'll give it to FaZe in the same way, but mostly because if you look at the team or the guys who are on Escolinha right now, only one of them has got actual tier 1 experience, and we've seen guys like Wizard maybe in the picture about are they next up to jump in like to a tier 1 roster. It might very well be on the cards for them very shortly, but for right now, I think they'll get a pretty rude awakening to start this bracket. I think FaZe will take this first one.
Okay, well, Jacob and Jesse, Beeboop is telling me that our teams are ready. So, Beeboop, let's please go to the Cyberpunk basement to Ollie and Demo. Beep, beep, let's go. Hurry it up. Doot, doot, doot.
Hello, everybody.
Where's moving?
Jackie,
There's Beeboop. Sorry.
thank you so
Let's
much.
see, we're
I hear a
going
British
up.
man.
Hi, guys. Yep.
Who is this Beeboop? Wow, this is unbelievable. I don't think I've ever dealt with a Beeboop demo. What are you saying?
What's going on? It's
Well, what is going on?
what is going on? We're
in the basement.
Siege. That's all
We're
I'm
in the
here for.
basement.
Show me Siege.
Welcome, everybody. We, of course, are going to be taking you through this first game here. We got best of 3 on the cards to kick things off here tonight. Downstairs in our very sort of electro synth themed basement demo.
Elton John playing with all those phone camera lights there in the background. I'm not sure.
It's kicking off a little bit of sort
Where's
of
Rocket Man?
I don't know. It's just very 80s synth vibe. It's almost like Ian's photo that he took at Charlotte. Mm-hmm. We got everyone to light the old stage up with the cell phones. But looks like we're not going to be waiting too long before hopping straight on into this. We have got FaZe, we have got Escolinha, and I'm not even sure if I'm saying that right. I'm going to be straight. Jacob nailed it. I tried to in my head mentally take note of how he said it, but I don't think I did a great job.
Yeah, don't hurt yourself overthinking it. We know you have those tendencies sometimes. Ollie, is this LATAM? Hello? We're back?
It certainly is. Feels good, doesn't it?
And what way? What a team to kick things off. My boys, my clan.
Your favorite LATAM team.
Escolinha, of course.
I've seen the photographs.
Oh, I'm ready.
I've seen you throw a FaZe up before in the past.
Oh, I am ready. Everyone, we're ready to kick things off. FaZe Clan versus Escolinha in our first Latin America play day of this tournament. And of course, one of my favorite teams, FaZe, is on the screen. So we'll kind of settle things in. The desk did a good job there, Ollie, of kind of setting the scene and where these teams have been at for the past couple of months. FaZe, we know, took a big hit, did not manage to get into the North American major, which was a big shock for, I think, a lot of us. And now it's just where do FaZe go from here? And they're in this tournament now, and you would expect to see a good showing.
You would, you know, FaZe are a team that have been allowed a little bit of time off, as it were.
Yeah.
And they can now, you know, start to show us really what it is that they have been working on. I'm sure that they've got plenty planned, especially given that there's quite a few changes coming with Stage 2. Of course, one that might have been noticed at this point is that we've actually seen a Zami band. Now, for anyone interested or for anyone that's just joining us for this game, the 2 new operators are going to be available.
But you can't play Sense because
you obviously
they're literally
can't play
not in the game yet.
because they're not in the game. But the sort of sentiment still remains in that Azami's available, and already it's seen a little bit of ban time.
Is indeed. We know a big operator that we still have to find out how good she really is in the competitive environment, and sadly we're not going to see it in Bank today. So FaZe on the defense, and naturally, as you would expect, a bit of a roam game from FaZe. We know this is a team, Ollie, that like to get out and about. Every single one of these boys can gun. That's just the way they are. You know, even the hard supports, gunners.
They really are. You know, FaZe, they don't really need any introduction, really. It's a very well established roster at this point. FaZe have done a lot in terms of you know, sticking together. It's been a very long time since they've made any sort of roster change, and already we're seeing them in what on paper looks like a pretty good position. They've got Bank, they're on defense first, they've taken us downstairs. We've got a couple of really key bands coming out there in the form of a Habana and a Thatcher. A little bit of an extended roam game, just give a few problems for this attack to solve. FaZe are going to be fairly comfortable here, I think.
Yeah, I'd say so. Obviously, Escolinha coming in here as the underdogs, massively a young side, a team which has experience primarily in the second division, never really hitting the heights of that regular tier 1 experience that obviously FaZe have just bundles off. So we'll see if the underdogs can cause an upset already from Europe, Ollie. We've seen the 2 kind of underdog teams take down the 2 professional sides, so who's to say we can't see it in LATAM?
I mean, we know how good those air-quote underdog sides are. We get to watch them quite often inside of MPL, and they do compete at
and that wild roster. Look at the players in that team as well.
The rosters have entirely changed. This is obviously, you know, somewhat uncharted territory for us. You know, we recognise a couple of the names here. Cons is somebody that I look to there as somebody that we've seen inside of the BR6 before. Just trying to root the player out from behind the server stack. A lot of utility there to try and wade through, though, and with the time sitting at around 40 seconds left, it's really getting toward that do or die time. Cons actually hits the drop. He's going to have to play aggressively onto this. Does manage to pick up the kill onto Cameraman, but Blue Stairs still isn't clear. And there's going to be a slew of utility getting thrown down there. The Goyo backpack has been detonated, but Souls on the Toxic Babes is going to be able to keep these players at bay. Does get a bit too greedy, though. Extends just a touch too far. Leaves a lot here for Astro to do, but he's still got a C4 in pocket. Hashi is going to be able to shut down onto Bullet. Now, there's not going to be a great deal of time left. That's a great shot from Astro. He gets the peek onto the back there of the planting player. Down in motion. Time already ticking, and not long left on the clock.
Oh, it's good to be back in LATAM. Oh, it really is, Ollie. What a clown fiesta in those final couple of seconds. So much going on. So right off the rip, Escolinha, too slow for my liking. You're only starting to try and take server control about 40 seconds or so. Wisey swinging dirt with nobody backing them up. Really surprising. There was a lot of utility. You know, we've seen that kind of suicide hold from the 2 players in FaZe. One guy in behind the server rack, one guy on the blue stairs. They were dropping in the server with blue stairs still alive and well. It wasted time. We've seen the utility. The Goyo pockets were used really, really well. Then you look at the smoke as well, being able to stall out a majority of that push. I just think the Escolinha, they needed to move quicker. A lot quicker. Because we've seen, whenever it comes down to it, just those final couple of seconds, it's chaotic, and that gives, I think, that's where the players of FaZe for me have always felt at their best, Ollie, is whenever things are chaotic. That's where FaZe thrive. You know, they live in the chaos.
They really do.
I was born in the darkness.
they were born into chaos straight away.
Sorry.
No, don't do that again.
Ahead of myself.
I think you hit the nail on the head there. FaZe did a great job of roaming in the early part of the round, and they did a great job of retreating. They had plenty of utility to rely on as well. You know, you look at what they brought there. They had the Capcan, the Goyo, and the smoke. There was tons of denial. Why am I there to soak up a lot of those throwables as well? Really giving a lot of problems to solve. And that's oftentimes where you'll see, you know, teams really excel. I'm not sure how this is going to go. I'm going to be straight. If this goes how it looks like it's going to go, we could be in for quite a short fire round. We've got Cons on the Amaru, and it looks as though he's eyeing up a hopping straight into CEO.
It's a temperamental and a half lineup, isn't it? You got the Yin coming in, the Nukchwalk, Amaru, like you said, and of course the Iana Finka combo, which is still as prevalent as ever. So yeah, you would just expect kills. That's literally all this lineup's going to do. Not a single bit of hard destruction. Nothing. It is kills, well, or that's it. It's kills or nothing, Ollie.
And that's really the only way that you're going to have to go about things. You're going to have to be charging through windows, single doors. You need to be making those points of entry. Amaru, as an operator, doesn't lose value the later into the round, but it's incredibly important when it is used. Utility now getting thrown on out there as everything is going to be burned. Smokes get sent through as well. Comms with the diffuser is going to send himself straight on into a C4 laid by Cyber. He picks up a second with the MPX before a final kill is taken back in return. Hates is going to try and get the diffuser down, but will be immediately taken out by Astro. It is, however, traded. 3 versus 2 now as FaZe look to try and stabilize a little bit. The diffuser's still cold on the ground inside of CEO. King can look to try and recover that, but look at all of the destruction that there is vertically. He's going to have a pretty hard time of trying to get this down. There is going to be a player just looking for a bit of a rotation as well, although the castle barricade will be kind to King here, as he's just trying to gather a little bit more information. You could see him send the drone out there about 30 seconds ago, just trying to gather anything that they can. Hachi, you're closer than you realize to the kill on the player inside of CEO, but Souls is going to be there to shut Hachi down. As King, while he might have site control and the diffuser, he's very unlikely going to get a plant down here. Going to go for a little bit of a bait here, maybe see if he can make something stick, but FaZe are positioned really well here. They've got him surrounded, and it's going to be Cameraman to pick the final kill.
That's a case of, you know, you're not locked in here with us. You know, they're locked in there with them, aren't they, Ollie? It's FaZe Clan who hold all the cards. They can let them have the access to the bomb site. They don't care. They're playing for that retake. They're happy enough to give them that control. They know they can deny from below with all the vertical holes. They still have the pressure. I think the Valkyrie information came in quite clutch, of course, from FaZe. Allowing Valkyrie open and bank is, yeah, I think we're starting to see Valkyrie just allowed to be open a lot of the times now, Ollie, because the changes that came in where you can no longer fire out the cameras outside. Teams are just letting her get through the banning phase a lot more, and she's still really good. You know, as much as she can from them outside, inside, still dominant. Very, very dominant. And I think for like the past year, 2 years, Ollie, teams have just been constantly playing with a Valkyrie ban. Yeah. Sometimes then you're surprised whenever Valkyrie's open. The same way we kind of look at mirrors and think you're used to playing, you know, with no mirror on the board, and all of a sudden there's a mirror. What do you do?
Yeah, it goes back to the old, you know, Mirror, Echo, Maestro meta that we saw in terms of bans. You know, if you weren't banning 2 of those 3, then what were you doing? And I think that the same is going to start to happen with Valkyrie now, especially with the introduction of Azami, because that's obviously going to be on some people's priority list in terms of a ban. It's a great play by FaZe to leave it open because they know that they can take advantage of it, and they know that they can make good use of it in these opening couple of rounds. And yeah, the fact that you can't throw them outside anymore. I mean, you think back to, you know, maybe 18 months ago, if you saw a Valkyrie using a camera in the site, that would have been, you're never playing Valk again. Like, get creative.
What are these cams?
We've got plenty of other utility that we can use to gain site information. But now, because it's been restricted and you can't throw them outside, it's like, actually, it's probably not a bad idea.
Yeah. I think IQ needs to be a sought-after pick now. If you're Escolinha, you're going to be ran over if you try and go attack that upstairs again whenever Valkyrie's running rampant. So I think they need to start looking at their operator selections very deeply, but they're very hot-headed at the moment with taking a very aggressive lineup, Ollie. Again, Aggression is the name of the game. You've got 2 LMGs in there. You've got the nuke again being prevalent. It seems to be just kill orientated really for Escolinha and nothing else.
Yeah, I mean, we've even already spoken about their sort of lack of hard destruction that we bring. We've got Cons on Thermite, and he played Thermite back in round number 1 as well, but really, we've not seen a great deal of value out of it just as of yet. Now, of course, there's more opportunity here in this round for it to be used, but you've got to take a lot of control in order to do so, and even then, you've got to get through things like impact tricking, so there's still tons of work to be done. You would prefer to see 2 hard breaches being brought, recognizing that you're going to lose a little bit. See Cons just using the secondary hard breach gadget there to open up the hatch.
He is having a mare.
FaZe is having a bit of a tough time there.
4 skeleton keys to make a rotate hole. Oh my goodness.
You don't get very many skeleton keys.
You know, he gets like 20.
We've only got 9 left.
Yeah. Not a lot. And it's a very soft kind of destruction bomb site that you need to attack whenever teams especially extend in towards the archives and tellers, which hasn't actually happened for FaZe, which I would say is a bit of a surprise. Instead, FaZe, they've extended into the basement. There isn't really a whole lot that basement gives you apart from a rotation up the staircases. May that be up through blue, may that be up through the main stairs, but other than that, you're not getting much, and there's 3 of them down here, so I'm really surprised. The only thing that you can do is you can toss a C4 up and over through the hatch into open area, but even that's a risky play to go for, so this could be scary if you're FaZe right now, and there's the nuke lies in wait, knowing where FaZe Clan are going to be, and yeah, FaZe have really missed the mark.
FaZe just left themselves with a really tough retake on the hands here. Bullet trying to fight his way back in. Vitaking has got full site control, but again, the diffuser is going to be cold. 2 players coming up those blue stairs. They know exactly where the diffuser is. Bullet picks those final 2. Look at the amount of information FaZe had to work with there.
A lot of pings, but I must say, FaZe very, very fortunate to win that round, Ollie. If you think about how this played out, 3 of them downstairs, it get to, you see here around about the 10-second mark. Right now, as 18 seconds, there was no one in the bomb site. The remaining 2 players were both rotating up blue. If anyone else had the diffuser in that scenario, apart from the Thermite, who they managed to pick off inside a skylight, FaZe would have had to retake, and that's a tough retake to go for. So FaZe, very fortunate that there is some mismanagement of maybe where the diffuser should have been. I don't know if you can really fault Escolinha for that. You know, you're not expecting the double rotate off blue. Maybe that's why it worked for FaZe, is because they played it. It was a bad play, but it was actually really good, if that makes sense.
Well, they made it work, didn't they? It worked out in the end. It was not ideal by any stretch. It was a strange engagement that almost kicked all that off when you think about Vitaking's positioning on the stairs, taking out Cameraman. Like, that's not a gunfight or an exchange that you often see. But because FaZe had played downstairs and because we'd seen a lot of site control given up, it was something that came out. Now we go back down. FaZe looking to take this first half flawlessly. They've done at least that so far, and again, they're just going with this. We are going to slow Escolinha down to a crawl. Get as much denial, get as much soak as you can out there. We've got Aruni gates, we've got the Wamai and the magnets, we've got Cade and Electroclaw. Everything here is just in an attempt to slow Escolinha down, because there's been one common theme demo throughout the majority of these rounds, and it is the clock. Escolinha are by no means a quick attacking team.
I think that's shown, and FaZe they've gave them minimal chances. You can see that Escolinha, they're almost waiting for FaZe Clan to take these fights. FaZe have been very conservative up to this point. I say that as we've seen Cyber reverse bombing that's worked for him immensely. But other than that, FaZe have just kind of held their positions, haven't they? They haven't really went for the hunt. They haven't went for the aggression. They've sat, they've held their corner, and Escolinha's just kind of played into that. You cannot rely on FaZe Clan making mistakes, because FaZe Clan give you nothing. They give you absolutely nothing.
And even when they do, they can rectify it quite quickly just because of the flexibility and the, you know, they're very knowledgeable.
They're a world-class team. They have everything.
Exactly. It's, you know, this was never billed as an easy game for Escolinha to come in and walk away with. Vitaking has got himself into onto the main stairs, excuse me. There's going to be a player inside a garage, but that player is going to be Bullet. He's announced himself on these main stairs now. It's going to make it difficult for him to make any further progress without significant distraction from elsewhere.
Yeah, Semhen Cyber is trying to lock down the backside, but the HP isn't favorable for either of them, really, at this stage. I do like this position that Bullet's going to be playing in. The way Escolinha are playing, you know they're going to try and crouch walk in. They're going to try and go for these hero plays, and just having one man inside a garage is going to work so well for them. Bullet, the man has slipped by. He's by the police car. Can he find him? Yes, he can. Bullet snaps on over to the player, moving in towards garage, and down he goes. So, yeah, what can you say apart from this is just FaZe holding these angles, locking them down, and Escolinha playing into them. Exactly what I said.
Flawless round there from FaZe. Souls down, but not finished off. Escolinha, they really didn't look too well put together there. It was a very bitty push. You can see one of the final kills as that hatch drop came through and Bullet picking himself up 2 inside of the garage. It was almost as if they said, look, we had a really tough time with Blue and Server last time. Let's try something a little bit different. Let's focus on Vault Hatch. Let's try and take into garage a little bit. And equally, that didn't work either. FaZe not spreading themselves too thinly or investing too much utility in one area or another. Happy to swap and change as required. Back upstairs we go as Escolinha still searching for a round on the attack here.
It's looking scary now for Escolinha. We know how volatile FaZe can be on the attack, Solly. They are a team that I love playing Siege. They can be anywhere and everywhere all at the same time. That's not going to be easy for Escolinha to prepare for. Escolinha, we know, young side, doesn't have a lot of experience under their belt. This is always going to be a difficult challenge for them. You know, as much as you look at different regions, Ollie, we know that in Europe, we can see tier 3, tier 2 teams go and take down tier 1 giants. We don't really see that all too often inside of LATAM. It's, you know, the big guys stay the big guys. That's the way it is.
Typically, that's the way that it has gone. Sometimes we do see the big guys fall off, though, as has happened
They still
with NIP.
remain. They don't just, like, crash and burn. Like, we know NIP will be back. We know they'll be back.
Oh, yeah, of course they will, of course they will.
Information. Name of the game. Where is he? He's outside. Of course he is. Just yeah.
I mean, why wouldn't you jump out with you and the SMG? You know, why wouldn't you take this next engagement here? 2 kills returned. It's FaZe really just playing with their food here, Demo.
Yeah, it's just, this is where FaZe, I think, they've got that confidence, don't they? 4-0 up. This is where they think, let's just do what we want. But don't underestimate the side you're playing against. You know, FaZe, get in here. Give us a good showing. But right now, they do suffer a man deficit. But FaZe, we know, can, even in the darkest of times, Ollie, can still pull out a round win no matter how heavily the odds are stacked against them. So, again, slow pacing from Escolinha. This has been the main issue that we've kind of looked at is they're just too slow. They're just looking for these picks which are never going to come. To be fair, FaZe have kind of thrown themselves away with those first 2 opening picks. But Escolinha not wanting to move until they know every bit of information that they can. Smoke's going to be tossed in to burn up the discs. Now goes the C4 right onto the noggin, but no. Backstep, Siosa is safe for now. But Cameraman, he's not safe. A 2 versus 4. Nook on the other side of the map, Ollie has been able to take a victim.
It's strange to see Escolinha still moving so slowly, even though they've got such a big time advantage and man advantage. It's a 1 versus 1 now. Cyber has done his job and more from those main stairs. The shield placed on top of the table. Somebody get the kill here. The nade was going off. It was down to pistols only. King to pick it up finally. That silenced Eagle doing the job. Souls running out of ammo in just about everything there. All coming down to 1 bullet.
Clash of Titans, the Magnum versus the Deagle, Ollie.
The silenced Eagle, no less.
Yeah, well, you're Nook. You're gonna go for that luxury, aren't you? Honestly, I think probably both of them at fault there. You would have thought that Nook maybe would have had a good shot there whenever the Kaid was actually sticking his head out for quite a long time over that shield, but sadly, we managed to see the perspective from the defense, and that was messy. Very, very messy.
Well, it's a round. Escolinha have picked themselves up around here. It is not going to be a flawless half for FaZe. Still, you'd take a 4-1 at this point. You'd certainly take a 5-1 at the end of this round, and to be honest, you'd probably even take a 4-2, because while we've seen some problems with the Escolinha attacking that it has been very slow, something that FaZe aren't is slow. If they're in the mood to play, and they're in the mood to play aggressively, which is what they've shown us here with, you know, Astro hopping out of windows, real aggressive spawn peak challenges getting put into Escolinha almost every single round, I don't have any doubt that FaZe are going to have the speed when it comes to the attack. The question is, do they have the conviction?
Oh, okay. 4-1 FaZe Clan take their first defensive loss. Let's see how they respond now as we move down into our next bomb site of that mid floor. Last time FaZe, they went for a very strange triple-man basement hold, even though it was open area, and a double flank up blue kind of worked for them, but it shouldn't have, but it did, so we can't really question it, but maybe we can. Am I making any sense? It was a weird round. Astro goes down. Again, this is where I think that FaZe now, they've got that confidence, and there's confidence and there's cockiness, Ollie.
That's a line that FaZe often cross as well.
Yes.
And that's the opening kill going into Escolinha's favor. Now, we saw what they were able to do with the man count advantage previously. And again, in round number 5, very similar to round number 6, they find themselves in a 2-man advantage. Now, that's quite significant, especially when it trickles into being 3. As good as FaZe are, they're no match for the Finca LMG, as basically nobody is. And already, Souls and Cameraman left to do everything. Over half of the round remaining. Escolinha now should look to move quite quickly, use this time to gather information. They've still got 4 drones left, so there's hope yet for them to gather and to figure out exactly where these 2 players are. I mean, it's not going to be too much of a secret, let's be honest.
Ooh. Cameraman tries his best to at least get 1 kill back, but immediately shut down, denied. And now it's Souls in a 1v5, big old LMG in the hand. We've seen him do miracles before, Ollie, but even I think this is a stretch for Souls. See if he can at least take 1 down with him to the grave, but my goodness, look at this. It's an onslaught. Every single angle is being opened up, and Escolinha respond with rounds back to back. A 4-2 split is how they finish.
I think it's a fair split, isn't it? You know, this isn't a best of 1. This is a full best of 3. So we're expecting both of these 2 teams to, you know, peak and trough in terms of performance over the course of these 3 maps, if we do get to see all 3. But a little bit of a slower start for Escolinha, but they've redeemed themselves. They've made up for it. They're now coming into their defensive side on the right kind of momentum. You know, they've not had a great start. They've been able to turn it around. They didn't need to take a timeout or anything like that to do so. They were quite happy to fix the problems on the fly.
Because it's an attacker-sided map. That's why I worry. Yes, they've done well to, you know, pull those 2 rounds back from 4-0 down they were at, but they still now have to go on the defense. And FaZe Clan, they're a very strong team in the attacks. We always look at attack as that defines the team. Anyone can defend. But to attack and have that level of coordination, that's where the great teams flourish. So you would expect FaZe Clan, they're going to be on top of their game and they're going to be ready for this. We see some rat plays. Hashi, he's photocopying himself. See that?
Is he taking a copy for the album, for the memory album, the scrapbook?
That's it. Look at that, he is stuck in there. There is an IQ though. Counter to Valkyrie, as we know. Also a counter to Vigil, so Hashi maybe needs to be careful of that as well.
I remember where I was when I first realized that IQ could pick Vigil up.
It always seemed, and what about even whenever you could pick up Pulse as well? Whenever I think of Pulse and IQ, I always think Clubhouse Kitchen.
See, I was playing Tower when I first found out.
Tower.
That's how long ago it was. That Tower was in ranked when I found out.
Goodness.
It's a throwback.
What a throwback. First blood goes in favor of FaZe, straight into open area. They will go. They have a good stronghold now, good beachhead that they can start setting up from, of course, Ollie. Get those hatches open and everything that follows afterwards. Hashi, he's done photocopying. He's going to get those shipped back down to the office, but maybe he's looking for a trip into the open area. Ooh, goes for a shot, makes himself known. Another kill falls for FaZe. It was that single man we've seen enter in towards ATMs, who I think was probably searching for Hashi, but instead found another. Managed to found that Mozzie, and that's a 4 versus 3 with still a minute 30 to go. Just look at the pace, look at the difference in how FaZe have kind of set this up compared to what we've seen Escolinha. At 1 minute 30, the main wall's open. That's the night and day difference. At 40 seconds, there were still people inside a server for the defense.
And it needs to be, because there's utility to wade through here. We know that there's, well, I mean, there's a little bit less now, but still, there's stuff to do. There's jobs on. Astro, he's going to say, don't worry, guys. You distract him, and I'm just going to drop, and I'm going to pick up 2 inside of red. You really can't contest FaZe on their ability to pace themselves throughout the round. They did a fantastic job there, and Bank is very checklist. For a team that is well coordinated and has a firm plan of how they want to approach every single site, Bank is extremely checklist, and FaZe just worked their way down the list.
Attackers need to locate and defuse bombs.
They're just so clinical, aren't they? They see what they want when they take it. That's the way FaZe have always been. Escolinha trying to really force those kills again, this time in the opening aggressive nature that you can have in Bank as roamers, but if you don't have the refrags, you're going to fall behind very quickly, and that's basically what happened for them. They just did not refrag well enough to really keep them inside of that matchup. And keep in mind, it's a basement defense. It's more anchor associated than really roamer heavy that we see. I would say if you're going to roam, you need to fully commit to it. Like, you need to do the whole shebang. You open up the open area hatch that looks down into the bomb site. You extend into Teller's archives. You do everything you can. You play free people inside of open area. You fully commit to it. You just don't kind of half do it. You fully commit to it.
FaZe, I'm sure that they are going to fully commit to this attack. They're going to be bringing the Dokkaebi this time. Cameraman was hovering over onto the Maverick, but having seen the site and the setup, has since decided, you know what, we're going to bring a little bit of Dokkaebi to the party here. The phone calls ring through, gather a little bit of early information. Astro, happy to hop in off the back of that. He can hear a lot of buzzing in the distance, but a C4 just detonating there at his feet. As Cons picks up the first kill over onto Bullet. Astro is known here. Just getting himself into a pretty ropey engagement. Chooses instead to open the hatch. Is he going to go for the drop straight into the site? Nobody will have been expecting this one. Somehow manages to keep himself alive.
And he's out.
Cyber takes out Cons. Astro then makes his way out of copy window. Kills continuing to trade here. Cameraman for Hashi and Hate there to back him up. Souls takes a huge chunk of damage, but still manages to find the kill onto Vitaking. He still has the diffuser in hand. He might only have 1 HP, but he's going to try and nail it to the floor. Hate's looking to try and aggress on through. Doesn't have a nitro cell. Instead, he doesn't have anything. Gets fully taken out. Astro, the man that should not have lived past the first 50 seconds, picking up the final kill in that round.
I have no words. It's, you know, the way that, like, you'd see, like, let's say, for example, Scooby-Doo, and they run through a door, and then it's like they go through, like, they end up in another door, and they just keep running through doors and doors and doors, and they're just all over the place. That's what it was like.
He just should never have lived. It was like he was playing a game of Temple Jump. Was that what it was called?
Temple Run.
Yeah, like, you know, he's jumping over the obstacles, the flying logs coming at his face.
That's a throwback.
Like, there's people throwing rocks at him from on the cliffs. Like, that's what it felt like.
My goodness. You've actually just sent me for a time warp there with that comment.
Yeah, you flipped into a parallel universe.
Doodle jump, cut the rope. My goodness, what's happened to me? What was the one where you had like the motorbike? And you used to
was
like
it like
down the motorbike.
Was it like a dirt bike?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's it called?
I don't know. Answers on a postcard. Phone in.
But call us up. Call us up. Let us know.
Phone in.
Do you know that game?
Attackers are moving
Very,
to the bomb.
very brief description from Dale. I'm sure there's somebody.
You'll know
maybe
straight
we'll find
away.
out in the break. Maybe we'll find out in the break.
6-2. One more round potentially for FaZe to lock up Bank in good fashion, good form on the attack again. They will have another go at attacking in towards this mid floor. Let's see if Escolinha can maybe change anything with how they kind of set up. I'll be honest, they just didn't capitalize on the mistakes. FaZe Clan, they're leaving themselves very vulnerable to these one-on-one engagements, aren't they? The way FaZe have kind of setting things up, Ollie, refrags are not going to be there. They're very single-minded right now.
Yeah, I mean, it's not quite hero plays, but it's certainly solo plays.
Yeah.
You know, quick phone call here, send someone in on the entry. If it doesn't work, it's not going to be the end of the world. Cyber getting himself straight in. Souls has fallen. Cons took him out right off the rip there. Cons actually made his way back inside after hopping out. Bit of unfortunate timing there. It was all with the Cyber hopping as well. Astro could be in a position to pick up a couple of kills here, but he doesn't even know where he's being shot from. He's being pressured from almost every side. Cyber trying to assist now from double. Just can't find the angle. Another phone call comes through. Hashi, everybody knows you are here, my friend, but the hatch is going to be open, and he is going to be able to drop off scot-free. Cons furthers the damage that he's caused in this round and takes down yet another.
Attackers have recovered their diffuser.
FaZe, what has happened? A 2v4 that they have to try and climb themselves back from. But they're very spread out, aren't they, Cameraman and Cyber? Could not be possibly farther away if they tried. One player towards the top floor and the other player coming in for the sewers. Let's see if they can find these picks, if they can catch them by surprise. And I suppose right now for Cyber, if you die, that's diffuser lost also, so he needs to tread lightly, but I don't really think they can do that. Cons, do you think he's going to be ready for somebody coming in from below? That's the only worry that you would have, because you know that Cyber is starting to lurk that way, and no, it's a freebie for Cyber. Cons goes down. Now Cameraman and Cyber are closer together now, Ollie. Potential for refrags, who knows?
Look at how well they've played that as well, watching each other's back and continuing to watch the staircase, pinching the player that was basically in the middle of themselves. Really well played to regroup as a team, but we've not got a lot of time left remaining. Breaching charge goes off through the floor. Cyber picks up his third of the round, and that is the cue to call. Cameraman throws in the flashes. Cyber hits the drop, and he's looking for more. Can he make it 4? It will be the ace to close out map number 1 here, but he has to get this plant down. The time is running too short, and Cameraman isn't in position to challenge, keeping himself alive, allowing the plant to go down, and it's going to be Cameraman to find the final kill there. FaZe, they're going to be successful here on Bank.
Oh, it's just FaZe at its best, isn't it, Ollie? Oh, I've missed them. I really have. And that's just the way they are. You put them in those positions, they always find a way. They always find a way to pull it around. And we've seen that on multiple occasions. That's just the FaZe at their best.
The FaZe effect. It certainly is a thing, and it's good to see FaZe after, you know, quite a long period of time. You know, we didn't see them at the Charlotte Major. They had a little bit of time off, and it's nice to see what they've been working on, and they've really just been working on being themselves, because that win was quintessentially FaZe. They got themselves a nice lead early on, and they were just able to capitalize. It was aggressive. There was time for, you know, a little bit of reckless aggression. Astro jumping out, mute SMG11, picking himself up a kill, and then there's also time for what we saw in that final round. Cameraman and Cyber buddying up, hitting the 2 versus 4 and pulling it home for the win. Very impressive stuff there, but it is not all over. We do have another map here to go to, Demo. Do you think that Escolinha have got what it takes to drag one back here and take us to all 3?
No.
In a word, no. Well, let's find out. We're going to cut to a very short break, and when we'll be back here with map number 2. Don't go anywhere.
जब चढ़ाई में चलो चढ़ने में तो इतनी प्रॉब्लम नहीं होती, तो थोड़ा सी बर्फ़ में यहाँ पे आंगन में ही थोड़ा सा पैर फ्रैक्चर हो गया था। मेरा नाम सीमा ठाकुर है, मैं हाउसवाइफ हूँ। वैक्सीन लगवाने के लिए हमें टूटू जाना पड़ता है, नहीं तो नहीं आयुर्वेदिक वो भी है ऊपर। बच्चों के साथ आधा घंटा लग जाता है। गिरब में जो है डिस्पेंसरी, उसके लिए आधा घंटा लग जाता है। जो टूटू जाना हो तो टूटू जाने में पौना घंटा बच्चों के साथ लग जाता है और पैदल जाना पड़ता है। बारिश बर्फ़ में तो बहुत मुश्किलें होती है, क्योंकि बच्चों के साथ आना जाना बहुत दिक्कत होती है।
मेरा नाम कृष्ण लाल है जी, और मैं स्वास्थ्य विभाग में, क्योंकि कुछ साल पहले ऐसा होता था कि गांव में पता ही नहीं चलता था लोगों को कि क्या है, कोई पोलियो है कि कोई जानता नहीं था। अब जब सरकार ने इसके लिए इस तरीके के अभियान छेड़े हैं, जब तक हमारे को पूरा कंफर्म नहीं होगा कि इस बच्चे ने यहाँ पे दवाई नहीं पी या पिलाई या नहीं पिलाई, चले जाओ आप दूर दराज के क्षेत्र में चले जाओ, तो हमारे को कोई ऐसा केस या ऐसा कोई बच्चा, अगर यहाँ बच्चा आ गया तो हमने यहाँ पिलानी है। किसी कारणवश अगर बच्चा हो जाता, गांव में लोग रहते, क्या पता क्या मजबूरी है उसको, क्यों नहीं आया बच्चा, क्या पता वो बीमार है या कोई उसको कोई और प्रॉब्लम है। तो हमारा ये है कि भी हमारे पास पूरी वो होती है लिस्ट बनी हुई ना, कि हमारा अब लोकल जी में तो पता ही होता है सबको कि फलानी जगह बच्चा फलानी जगह, तो हमारे पूरा पता है कि फलाना बच्चा फलानी जगह से नहीं आया। वो तो हम क्या करते हैं, जैसे 4 बजे तक आज हम दवाई पिलाएंगे तो नेक्स्ट डे उसको घर में जाके दवाई पिलाए। वही जैसे मैंने पहले कहा कि भी ऐसा नहीं होता कि भी उसको उस सुविधा से वंचित रहना पड़ेगा।
Hello, and welcome back to Gamers Without Borders. I'm Jackie Jing, and I'm with Jesse and Jacob and FaZe Clan. Starting off very strong, gentlemen. They came here to play. So, Jacob, I don't want to be mean, but Escolinha frankly looked a little bit outclassed to me at times. But I will admit this. FaZe kind of got loose and aggressive, and I felt like they capitalized off of that too. Agree?
I mean, I would have said outclassed if you didn't say it. That's not being mean.
Okay.
They absolutely got stomped into the ground. That 4-0 start for FaZe Clan felt like that's too much for Escolinha to come back from, especially after the side swap. You'd think a 4-2 half is okay, it's survivable. Nah, FaZe Clan made really quick work of them, and they really turned that map into their own playground.
Yeah, it was a little bit painful to watch at times, Jesse.
It was, and you kind of hit the nail on the head, Jackie. Like, okay, FaZe Clan went up for 4 rounds, and then sure, Bubu answered back with 2, but it's like, at that point, really the rounds that you were losing was because FaZe Clan, they jumped out of a window in the first round, and in the second round, they were roaming all over the map. They were roaming really individually, and it felt like it was just Escolinha punishing that massive aggression. They weren't able to really get anything done when FaZe Clan weren't delivering things to them. And it is nice to see that at least we're seeing Escolinha be able to shut down really aggressive plays like that. I'm sure playing down in like tier 2 in Brazil, they've seen a lot of that, and so they're probably very good at shutting it down. But when it comes to actually playing, the game as it's meant to be played against the big dogs when they're giving it their all, it definitely felt like they were outclassed.
Okay, and we are rolling through some highlights here, but Jesse, I do know that round 2 actually stuck out to you. Escolinha, they had a cool idea, but it didn't really get executed well, unfortunately.
Yeah, I mean, at the beginning of this game, right, we didn't necessarily know how Escolinha was going to do, and when they showed up to the CEO take with an Amaru, a Ying, a Nook, I was excited. They were going to pop everything through the windows. It was a late take. What I didn't like about it, and I think the big reason why it failed, is because the setup that was being run by FaZe Clan countered it very hard. They had so much throwable denial. They had Jaeger, they had Wamai, they had a Rooney. They had so many obstacles that really had to be avoided from the attacking team. And Escolinha, although they did their best to try to clear some of that stuff out, a lot of their smoke still got caught by magnets. A lot of their throwables didn't really land where they needed them to. And so when they all swung in through their windows, it really felt like they got completely just shut down entirely. There's also a big C4 that was able to be popped off of like just sound. So that was huge for FaZe Clan. I would have liked to see maybe more droning in the prep phase. And then what we could have seen is Escolinha decided, well, okay, this isn't the setup we want to use this on. Let's use that attacker repick and maybe change strategies for this. But didn't seem like that was today.
All right, well, we got Kafe up next, so let's see how it goes. All-in demo, take it away. Hi. Bye.
Thank you very much, Jackie, Jacob, and Jesse. We are going to be flying on down into the basement to watch the next map inside of this best of 3. We've got FaZe, we have got Escolinha, and so far, demo, it has been pretty one-sided, but we've only seen one map.
Yeah, but I think we already know that this is kind of where it's probably going to keep going. I think FaZe, we're always expected. Yeah, it's FaZe Clan we're talking about. 6 months ago, they won a major. Are we forgetting that? We still have to give them credit. They're at Invitational. Was it get third place at Invitational? Like,
third place invite,
these are acknowledgements that you need to kind of look at and think, yeah, they're still there.
Well, they certainly are still there. They were definitely there on Bank. Let's find out if they are here on Kafe as well. Not necessarily a map that you instantly think of if you think of LATAM as a region, but Kafe has risen somewhat. Yeah, it's risen somewhat in popularity. I think particularly after Consulate was removed, that was a bit of a turning point in Kafe rising up through the ranks. I mean, anything's better at this point, Demo, than Oregon or Clubhouse, right? I'm just glad that we've got to see at least a couple of maps that we don't necessarily get every single day.
Yeah, Kafe is, for me, always a bit of a temperamental map that we see now and again. It can be very one-sided, or we just get absolute barn burners. That's the way I think Kafe always seems to play out. And, I mean, FaZe, they have quite a nice record. If you look at it on a map like Kafe, it's a map that they're happy enough to play. They'll never really shy away from it. If they get a chance to go on it, they will. We've seen them play it, I think, maybe 5 or 6 times, I think, during Invitational only, and they didn't drop it a single time. They were undefeated on Kafe, I believe, during their kind of campaign invite. So yeah, it's a map that they're favored for, definitely.
And that's a pretty bold statement coming from Escolinha to be willing to go there. You know, I wouldn't have thought that was you know, something that they've just sort of happened upon by chance.
Be Elevate.
Yeah, they know exactly what they're doing here. Let's see how this ban phase ends up panning out. The Capital, Thatcher, Valkyrie this time has been removed, but again, the Azami. Now, of course, we could be seeing the Azami ban because teams don't want to necessarily give away what they are planning to do in stage 2 with that operator. So that could be something to bear in mind as well. Although Escolinha, again, being the ones to choose to remove it, you would sort of question how much weight you can put into that.
Ready to go with our first round, as it will be Escolinha on the defense. It certainly is, in my opinion, more kind of defender-sided map that we see nowadays, with the addition of Mira being open now as well. It's, heavily favored in towards the defense. Mira is so tricky to get rid of. And also a Thatcher ban. You can combo that with Mute Jammers if you want to. It denies any Habana pellets being fired at it, any ace charges. You look at lineup from FaZe, they will struggle to get rid of this Mira window. 100% they will.
Yeah, FaZe are going to have to get creative in order to get that done. But the trend is going to continue of these early and aggressive opening picks. This time it's going to be FaZe to find it. Able to take down Hate. Kafe is one of those maps where, you know, access to the building as an attacker is not guaranteed by any stretch. And typically it's the attackers that are the ones that are under fire and under threat, but Bullet is able to reverse that threat and pressure. Finds himself an opener.
Kafe is probably one of the hard maps that we have in the pool to actually get in the building, wouldn't you say? Trying to actually get a foothold is so tricky. Whenever you look at the top floor, the entire top floor is defended. You know, everything's being extended across, so it doesn't give you a lot of openings, and that's where it always kind of comes down to. It's tricky for attackers just because getting into the building is such a tough task.
Well, it's made a little bit easier in that you've got one less gun pointed in your direction here. FaZe not looking to make any rash movements, although there's a chance here that a quick kill will be found on the rappel, and it is. 2 kills returned here from Escolinha as they can now sit pretty happy and comfortably knowing that they've given themselves an advantage, but Souls is going to rip that straight away. Diffuser has been collected. Sorry, hasn't been collected. It's still going to be on the ground. It was just at Souls' feet a moment or two ago. I wonder why he's not picked it up yet, but there's still plenty of time for that. Bullet looking to put a challenge in now onto Cocktail. Air jab going out there from Cameraman. This is real belt and braces stuff. Gemini clone to search out and figure where these final 3 defenders are.
Oh, gets caught sleeping. Bullet was looking through the bottom of the castle barricade, looking for a foot or anything that he could get a hold of, but instead just gets swung by Cons. Walks through the mirror window and into a great position. Souls loses engagement. And Cameraman, he tries to swing, but also gets shut down by Cons. FaZe Clan all over the place there in that final minute or so, Ollie. Yeah, FaZe. Just those mirror windows, so tricky. Not attempting to try and take in towards Piano. They kind of stemmed a lot of the stuff coming up through White Stairs. Just those mirror windows, you can see the influence. It forces FaZe into attack, which realistically isn't good.
I mean, they had no option really, right? Because they had players out on the rappel. They were trying to put a bit of pressure on there, and they just lost bodies. Despite the opening kill, it was really difficult. You see this important kill that Hashi was able to get onto Cyber. That was in an attempt to really shut down anybody from rotating on through there, but he got caught sleeping, and as you mentioned, we saw numerous players having a little bit of a nap. Bullet being one of them, led down inside of White Corridor. If you've not got the control of Piano, then you can't afford to be sitting there. You can't afford to not have an idea of what's going on just, 2 meters to your left. And FaZe paid the price for it there.
One thing I will say that I would say Escolinha may be missing out on is no Wamai in the lineup, which I think whenever Wamai's open, bit of a surprise. Wamai and Kafe, no-brainer in my eyes. That helps a lot with keeping those mirror windows safe. We know that FaZe Clan are going to bring a lot of utility. One of their signature operators is the Capital, for goodness sake. That's one that we always see kind of get thrown in by FaZe, so I think having the Wamai every round would help out massively with that. FaZe, realizing that, hey, mirror window is actually quite tricky to deal with, we see a Twitch come in. That's probably Cyber's signature operator, isn't it?
It definitely is. You know, Astro's been known for Twitch in the past as well, but of recent as...
Even his MIBR days, I always seen Cyber as Twitch.
He was a... I mean, it's a difficult one, isn't it, FaZe? Because anybody can pretty much play anything. You know, you think of Souls as the hard support. He doesn't always play Thermite. He doesn't always play a Breacher. There's a lot of flexibility here on this team. And
he's
look, just going to get taken out there nice and early. That was just some unfortunate timing right there.
Yeah, it's just you're trying way too much to make something happen right there if you're FaZe Clan. Walk into the site like that, really surprising that, first of all, Escolinha's let that happen, but also to not capitalize on Escolinha letting you do that is quite a big miss there if you're FaZe Clan, and Bullets probably kick themselves thinking, I should have had at least one kill there, and he probably should have.
Well, the site is almost still being set up, and there's just over half the round remaining, which in itself is pretty unusual. Bullet there just suffering a little bit of timing issue, but Astro has done quite a bit of damage with the Selmas. He's given himself quite a few lines of sight to work with here. Not just into dining, but also into reading as well. Makes mirror playing on the white stairs that much more important, because you want to be able to challenge onto that fireplace. Now comes the time of have FaZe taken enough control. This is a very horizontal approach. They haven't gone upstairs as of yet. They've not taken inside of Piano. And that could really come back to bite them, especially with the smoke that's currently playing inside of Piano, of Hashi as he finds one onto Cameraman. Now, a player has been allowed to slip on through, and that player is going to be Souls. Doesn't manage to find himself anything for his troubles. Cyber is there with the refrag, but again, it's a 3 versus 2. Now we can see players drop from Escolinha and retake onto the site. Cyber, I'm sure that you saw him then. Astro going to get chunked down through the holes in the breach that he made his very self. Bitter King played patiently almost all round in this location and is going to continue to do so. Nitro Cell goes out, but it allows a rotation. Cyber can now look to try and make good on the information being presented to him, but is immediately going to be taken out.
FaZe really confused how they're attacking this right now. Very one-dimensional. Just... they're trying their hand at these attacks, which just... they're not good attacks. You look at how they're playing, crouch walking into sight, forcing their way through one entryway, and that's it.
Attackers need to locate and defuse.
I'm just a little bit shocked. Kafe is a map where you need to constantly apply pressure. And most of that pressure comes down from utility, from nades, from Sophia stuns getting tossed in. All key elements that you need to have if you're playing Kafe is that utility. And FaZe aren't really going for that. You know, you're seeing the Iana Bullet walk in, 2 still in the pocket, not being used. Different stuff like that from FaZe, I'm just surprised.
Yeah, FaZe are really struggling to get going here. I'm not sure if it's, you know, because of the nature of how map 1 went. They were just expecting to come through and walk the whole thing. Escolinha are putting up a good fight here. Early days, it is worth mentioning. Let's see if this spawn peak yields any results. Hates. He's going to let the player pass for the time being, but gets returned and taken on out. You saw him fire a couple of bullets there, but Cyber was all too aware of the games that might have been played.
Flora drones, and they pop. Gets rid of the Banshee there also. Just good utility burn from Souls at the moment, so FaZe Clan trying to attack in towards his bakery. Astro, sharp eye on top of that vulnerable location, looks straight down onto that bakery, and he will find a kill. That big old DMR does a lot of damage. So right now, it's going to be Escolinha in the back foot, really, for the first time inside of this matchup that we've seen so far. A lot of drone work now being done, and Hashi, how's he going to play his life? It looks as if he's actually maybe just a little bit itchy here. All he wants to try and push in and try and find a kill, and he may just find that. He sees the Blackbeard. The range in the shotgun isn't good enough to get that kill, but still does a bit of damage, and Hashi's still in the thick of it right now. Another smoke grenade gets tossed out, but gets riddled from above. Cameraman, a lone man by himself upstairs, and that's a 1 versus 5 for Florio to try and do something, but feels though he's going to meet the same demise as the rest of his team, and he will. FaZe Clan respond. First round, a flawless at that.
FaZe, the team, will never cease to confuse me because they can pull a flawless round out of nowhere like that, and yet we see them, you know, attack the way they did in round number 2, let's say, when we've just got one player walking inside of sight in the first 40 seconds. It doesn't seem to be any middle ground with this team of like, they just do average. They either do really well or it just really doesn't work. And it's almost a fine line between like genius and just what are these guys playing at? And that's sometimes what I feel when I watch this team. And I don't dislike it. I'll be honest, it makes for an entertaining viewing. But you just sort of ask yourself, guys, can you just do that every round? Like, if you can do that, just do it all the time because it works really well. Now, granted, they got a couple of nice early picks. It was a site that we've not seen yet. They had an early man count advantage, and because of that, they were able to take full advantage. Cameraman being allowed to operate upstairs pretty much on his own without too much fear because they knew that the 2 remaining defenders were stuck inside of the site or in and around. It just goes to show what this team can do when they put the mind to it.
So we move into the second half of the first half, if you like. As we've already seen 3 defenses and still 3 more of them to go for Escolinha. And they need to try and rack up as big of a score as they can. 4-2, I think, is kind of the norm at the moment for Kafe. Defense, even 5-1, I feel, is probably your best chance that you get sometimes at winning Kafe. And that's a lovely bit of aggression. A Nomad getting ran out on Ollie. That shouldn't happen.
It's not on the must-see list, is it? You know, as the Nomad, you would expect that you are, you know, keeping yourself safe. But maybe Cameraman's playing the selfish or the selfless Nomad role, and he's actually using those air jabs for his teammates, and maybe they're the ones that are going to be safe from any further runouts. But with it being so early on into the round, you kind of doubt that all 3 were deployed in a meaningful manner. Again, FaZe coming up against a little bit of obstacle attacking onto this top floor side. They were successful in getting the opening pick way back in round number 1. It's Bullet's only kill so far in the map.
I heard a pop.
Have to come up with something a little bit different here again. Presence on this rappel on the south side, looking maybe to hop themselves in through white window. There's just so much to wade through. What a nade from Bullet.
Yeah, FaZe have done the cracked thing. They've been able to see that, yeah, the mirror window caused us a lot of issues last time. Focus on that. And they managed to pop the mirror window into the bathroom. That frees up the players inside the piano. They can now move in, take control of that if they can. And right now, Cons has actually been allowed to sit by himself in Cigar Shop and pick up souls. So FaZe Clan, they've done the correct thing, like we mentioned. They got the mirror window, but then have forgotten that they can maybe hold in towards Cigar Shop as well. So FaZe Clan again giving away an easy pick. They should have been ready for that, but they weren't. Astro instead is taking control of Cigar Shop now, but need to get some kills. 45 seconds to go. Still have to get through a C4 from the mirror. So a lot still to do. They need some more kills, and Bullet tracks onto the head. A 3v3 now, but Collins responds again with a kill onto Cyber, but gets straight out very swiftly by Astro, and they've been able to take control of White Stairs Ollie, but both of them have grouped up together, and they're going to be pushing into a bit of a crossfire, which I don't think is going to favor FaZe Clan at all.
And look at the utility that's still yet to be dealt with here. Bullet finds himself a great frag over onto Vita King. Hashi gives himself up here. He's got red pings to be working with, but the players from FaZe have split up, and one of them has been able to get into the site. But no, it was Astro, and he carries the diffuser. He's been downed. There's only 5 seconds left. There is nothing else for it. You've got to chase that kill, because Hashi, he's just going to run for the hills. And the hills in this instance are going to be over the top rail of White Stairs. FaZe, the time that we need you stood next to each other is the time that you weren't. You'd split up and got picked off. Escolinha scraping another one by their demo. They continue this lead.
Yeah, poor 2v1, as we said, from FaZe. You have to be winning those. They've done so well to pull it back. Bullet has played out of his skin. You knew where he was. You knew the castle was inside of Freezer. How was he allowed to escape that? That's probably the question. How have they let him out of there?
I mean, a castle in Freezer, anybody playing inside a Freezer on that top floor really just should not be allowed out. It's such a safe and such a dangerous position at the same time. There's a real balancing act playing in there, because you're vulnerable from the skylight. You're vulnerable because you've basically got 90s on left and right. You know, if someone hops in through washroom, or if someone comes in through the typical default rotation at the top of Lumber. It's just so difficult to play, yet he was allowed out. And I just don't think that's forgivable.
FaZe need to pick things up now and try and pull back at least another round. Another round gives them, you know, a good chance to get into the mix whenever they switch over to the defense. But if you're FaZe Clan, you're gunning here for an even split, at least for the standard of FaZe Clan, for the caliber of this side. You expect better. I know people will be saying, oh, you're too harsh in FaZe Clan, they can pull it back, whatever it is. Still FaZe Clan, look at who they're up against. Look at who they're up against. They should be moving into these games and sweeping aside this team. That's no disrespect to Escolinha, but you have to live in the real world sometimes, Ollie, and it's FaZe Clan. This is FaZe we're talking about.
It is. It really is, and you would expect FaZe to be doing a little bit better than they are at this point. As you mentioned, still time to salvage, but it doesn't forgive the kind of glaringly obvious mistakes that we've seen in the opening part of this map. Hashi, we're playing inside a pixel. FaZe really trying to throw the kitchen sink at this to try and get the job done, but the first kill is going to go in favor of Escolinha yet again here, as Cons finds one onto Cameraman. The C4 getting thrown out there as well. Another occasion where there is just such a great man count advantage here for Escolinha. Cyber, what is he going to be able to do on the Ash? Hasn't got the rotation available to him, has no option but to jump over the top rail. Does finish a kill off onto Vita King, but previous to that, Vita took down Astro and the diffuser was left cold. Cyber, you might be able to crouch walk your way into sight, but what are you going to be able to do from there? The diffuser is upstairs. It's likely that Escolinha are going to be circling that right now, and if not, it's going to be Cons making a rotation back on into sight, just to check demo that everything was going well.
FaZe just getting picked off, losing players. There has been no real direction from FaZe Clan and Kafe. Can you describe how they've been attacking? I can't.
Directionless.
Did you hear that?
I think it was a strange slow motion. I think it was the combination of the round ending music and slow-mo.
Sounded like the Pennywise music whenever he's doing his little dance.
Maybe that was what was it? Bubu? Jackie's robot.
Jackie's imaginary friend.
Jackie's imaginary friend that's apparently calling all the shots in the production.
I've never seen this. Have you seen this imaginary friend? 'Cause I haven't.
No. I think I mean, isn't that the point of an imaginary friend?
Oh, yeah, that's true. FaZe, you need this round. You need it. 5-1 is not easy, even for the best of teams. 5-1 splits can be difficult to pull back from. So they need a 4-2. They need a 4-2. Give themselves some leeway if they need it. Downstairs, kitchen. We've seen FaZe Clan. This is the only bomb site that they managed to attack successfully. Was this one. It was a flawless, I believe, at that. So Let's see if they can maybe pull out another one. Look at the aggression. This seems to be Escolinha. The aggression they had tried to apply at Bank just did not work for them. They're playing the exact same way, but it's working at Kafe. Just map preference for them.
I think it really does come down to map preference and, you know, what they're able to really get away with. You know, you can play mirror in some wonderful ways on pretty much every map, but Kafe as a map has some pretty nasty mirror windows that can just be incredibly oppressive to deal with. FaZe saw some success early, previously when they attacked this site, and they're going to see some success here. Cyber finds himself an opener. Cameraman's already flown himself in upstairs and is already looking to open up the hatch. Bullet storming through with the SMG. Cameraman looking to try and play cut-off to these rotating defenders that are likely going to have to retreat back to the site, but Hate is going to be there ready to shut him down. The Vector at long range. Never an easy shot to make, but one that he manages to. Hashi stuck inside a site now as the hatch will be opened above. FaZe are setting the stall here for a freezer-sided take as Cyber just going to hop in and see if there's any info to be gathered.
FaZe not wanting to move, waiting for Escolinha to almost move the chess piece before they think about what they want to do. See if that changes anything. Right now, Escolinha aren't in the greatest of positions. Hashi is all by himself in towards Freezer. Cons has been able to pull back one kill. And goes Astro, but Hashi is in the thick of it right now. Will stall him out with a smoke grenade, and Cons tries to swing, but Souls is just better than him in that scenario. Another kill falls though. FaZe go down, and so 1v2 Hashi, who we were circling for such a long time, it's the last to stand and also the last to fall. FaZe Clan, the kitchen works out well for them. They will pull back another round, a 4-2 split, still in favor of the defense, but hey, it's better than a 5-1, I suppose.
It is. Much better than a 5-1. Is it going to be enough? It seems that FaZe have really only picked up rounds there on the attack if one player's popped off and got a ton of kills. In that case, it was Bullet. He picked up 3. Or if they managed to get a flawless round and they just win every single gunfight, which I know sounds incredibly obvious and a little bit dull, but there was no rounds there that they were able to clutch. There was no rounds that they were able to really fight for and contend and win on an equal, you know, so that started out as an equal 2 versus 2, let's say. Everything's been fairly one-sided feast or famine for them on the attacks. Now, they switch over onto the defense. Escolinha have a nice 2-round buffer here. Try and increase this lead somewhat. FaZe only able to find success on the attack on one site. That is something that Escolinha will have to do better. Sure, they can just find success downstairs, but that isn't going to be enough. In that instance, we would likely get taken into an overtime. And then really it is anybody. So we need to see them find some success pretty early on here.
No surprises with the defensive operator selection. Again, just mirror. That's all you need to really look at on Kafe. Is just how strong this operator is. And whenever Escolinha, they're going for these Azami bans. You know, it's going to be obvious that Mirazen's going to be left open. So you have to. I don't want to use the word abuse, but you know, it's strong for a reason. You know, use it.
FaZe more than happy to take advantage of the mirror there, as you say, Demo. It's on the pitch, so they've got to get the most out of it. FaZe aren't being as aggressive as we've seen them be previously either. You think back to some of their defenses on Bank, and they were really, you know, going for spawn peaks and going for aggression in the opening portion of the round. This time, it's going to be Cons and Cameraman continuing that duel on the white stairs and that white stairs window. This time it's going to be Cons that comes out on top again. You just worry when you see Cyber look at a window because you just imagine him flying out of it.
Yeah. So FaZe losing the first blood isn't a good start for them. Bull actually going to pop the mirror window, realizing that It's going to be an east-sided kind of approach from Escolinha that they're not going to be holding on to Piano anyway, so you may as well open it up, give yourself another sight line or an angle, anything that you can maybe do to assist Souls, who is going to be in the hot seat, as we know. This is where utility is crucial right now if you're Escolinha. You need to get these nade kills trucking. You've still got 3 of them in the back pocket. We need symbols from them right now.
Souls is seeing that pressure from below as well, as Hashi is able to use the skeleton key to rip open a lot of that floor. Souls, let's get a couple of meaningful shots in onto him though. Can try and take advantage of these elevated positions to keep himself safe. Don't forget, all the while that we've got Hashi downstairs, that's one fewer gun upstairs trying to take onto the site, and we can see multiple silhouettes down there, so we know that Escolinha are going to leave themselves in a time pinch if they aren't careful. Unfortunate timing for Astro as Vitaking drops the hatch, picks himself up 2, no, make it 3. Finding his third onto Souls, and Cyber left 1 HP, not a lot of time remaining. It's going to be a flawless 4 kills on the round for Vitaking.
What a beast play. Wow. All the pressure coming in from the east. Escolinha actually struggling to eliminate those players towards the east side of the map. And Vitaking just drops the new hatch and finds 4 kills. That round totally on in. Everything else was not working out well for Escolinha, but it just takes one moment of glory. Yeah, all credit to him. What a performance. What a play.
You'd be fairly happy with that one, and that's done something incredible here. It has meant that Escolinha, while the pressure isn't off yet, they are firmly now in the driver's seat. FaZe gonna mix things up, go downstairs into reading, into that middle floor. They've got to find a round somewhere, Demo, and they've got to find it quickly. They don't want to leave themselves fighting against that match point in an attempt to try and bring this one back.
FaZe Clan, a lot of work to be done. What will they do? How are they going to pull this back? They're going to switch up the bomb site straight away in towards the mid floor. Reading is where we head to. Goyo makes an appearance. Now that is, it's an operator which I think is actually really good. I think the rework has done him wonders. I do. I think whenever you look at certain maps, he's so strong. I think on Kafe, a map which takes quite a bit of time to set things up and really execute, it can be great. You know, I think Kafe, it's a small map. There's a lot of choke points. And having just that sea of flames can be huge for some teams.
We're really getting to see just why this was a map that Escolinha picked in this best of 3. Currently sitting in a really nice position. Got to play some good siege to get it over the line, though. FaZe have that ability to really try and switch it on. And there's no better time than the present to do so. Hate's going to try and make a little bit of a solo entry here. A mistimed C4 from below will see him live to continue that entry. So he just drops himself back ever so slightly. He's got a couple of claymores to make use of here, and we'll place one just halfway on those red stairs. We saw the flicker of Nomad's laser on the air jab there as well, so you can imagine that the flank potential here is not going to be there.
The utility being used here and there to pick off the cameras. Cyber goes down, LMG will rain fire, but an LMG off their own. Souls has that Alda. Will eliminate that Sophia. Hashi with an aid, tossing it over towards White perhaps, but actually instead to just save it for the meantime. We'll toss that grenade now. Don't know what that's for. I think it's maybe for the Goyo canister. I'm not sure if there's something there, but either way doesn't get a kill. Cons, look at him, ready to go with the Amario Ollie. Is this going to pay off? We've seen this work plenty of times, Ollie, but we've also seen it fail plenty of times.
This is a bit of a LATAM special, isn't it? We see a lot of teams attempt this, and not everyone's able to pull it off. Souls, I'm not sure if his headphones are working because he didn't even react. I understand that there are a few explosions going on at the same time, but seriously, you've got to do a little bit better than that. Astro still has site control, but for how long? There's 35 seconds left here. Cameraman needs to ensure that he isn't droned here, and I think he has managed to skate by unscathed. Astro, however, it's going to be a little bit of a different story for you. Cameraman needs to believe in the shotgun. He really needs to make these shots land here. Bullet just trying to rejoin now and enter the fray as Hashi shuts Astro down. Cameraman with the shotgun, not even given half a chance. Florio finds the final kill, and that is going to be Escolinha putting themselves onto a map point.
Strong stuff. Very, very strong stuff. Escolinha. Kafe is sitting them down to a T. Oh my goodness, a slow-mo. Wow. Sorry, just taken away from that. It's like
It's just in case Souls wants to relive that moment, which I'm sure he doesn't, I'll be honest.
I don't know what FaZe have been going for this Kafe. I'm really confused about how they've approached this. They're giving away the opening pick way too easily for my liking. Way too easily. I don't know what's happened to them. I just don't know. No direction. Nobody really leading the charge. There's no one stepping up saying, hey, you know, look at me, follow my lead. There's nobody right now.
There's still time. It's not all said and done just yet. If there is a FaZe player alive in the server, they always have a chance. However slim that chance may be. The startling thing for me has been almost the conviction of gunfights. We've seen Escolinha operate on a whole different level here. It's, you know, I understand this is their map choice, but even their gunfights have been better here. Everything's really been working quite well for them when you think back to how sort of disjointed they looked as a team on Bank. Kafe, with it being a little bit smaller, with it being a little bit easier to approach, it's something that they're really taking that advantage of, and they're able to bring things like Ying and, you know, look to play a little bit more aggressively, and it suits their style. Can they get it over the line here, though? Another occasion where an opening pick is being threatened. I mean, that little punch hole onto the top of White Window is one of the oldest tricks in the book, but it will regularly net you a freebie.
Escolinha. Easy access up towards the rooftop. They got the Ying, which you've seen a little bit from whenever we were watching a very different game on Bank, if you think about it. Just how things have turned, how the turntables, you could say. And, oh, great nade kill. Down goes Bullet. I'm surprised from the lack of Wamai from both sides. I really am.
Attackers have located a bomb.
I just think it's a no-brainer operator on Kafe.
When you think of Wamai as an operator, the one place that a lot of people will think is Pixel on Kafe. And you just think to how powerful he used to be in that spot. And
Still is.
I mean, exactly, but
Used to.
even more so. There is just so much use and utility there available. That's something that FaZe haven't lent as far into as we saw Escolinha. They were willing to bring the castle, they were willing to bring the laser gates and the Jaeger. FaZe, on the flip side, we've only really seen the Jaeger. We haven't seen that sort of typical soak utility that you would expect.
Here comes the Yings. Astro will get blinded by everything. A drop. The C4 looked to be went from below, but did not catch anyone with that. Souls will find a couple inside of the stock, but look at that. It's a rampage. The LMGs rain through, an Astro all by himself. A 1 versus 3. Diffuser going down now. Should be an easy plant. You would expect the cover is there. Vitiking has some great plays, and we'll get the final kill. A 7-2. For Escolinha. Did not see that one coming.
Well, we have a game on our hands here. Not only a game, but a full series. We are going to get to see all 3 maps here between FaZe and Escolinha, and our decider map is going to be Villa. I didn't think that we would get here, honestly, after the way that we saw map number 1 go. I really wasn't expecting us to get all the way to a 3rd, but Escolinha have pulled the flip reverse card demo and come back in a fantastic way on Kafe.
Yeah, they have. FaZe looked out of it. I'm very surprised. This is a team that was undefeated on Kafe, at Invitational, where sweeping teams were fun on it. I don't know what's happened to them. I really don't.
Well, let's find out if FaZe have got what it takes. We're going to hit a short break. We'll be back with the desk and our third and final map inside this series. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back in just a few.
Progress is a race that has no end. After every finish line, another challenge awaits. How can we continue to push innovation in a sport at the forefront of technology? This is how. Discover how Aramco and the Aston Martin Formula One team aim to meet Formula One's sustainable fuel targets. Aramco, powered by How.
We know you hate it when you have to wait to get back into the game, but the wait will end in seconds. In real life, some people don't have the option to restart. Millions of refugees and displaced people have their lives on hold, eager for a chance to move forward. There are 84 million people around the world who were forced to flee due to war, conflict, violence, persecution, and climate change. And we are here to serve them, working day and night to provide them with life-saving aid and support. And you can be part of it. You can help people forced to flee gain access to life-saving aid like shelter, food, water, medicine, and much more. Donate to UNHCR. Help refugees and displaced families rebuild their lives.
The divisions in the world are stark. Recent years have shown some of the largest natural disasters ever in history. And that really hits hardest the people who had the least to begin with. These people need help. It would be a real tragedy if all these advances in science and health and technology only benefit people in a position to pay for them. There should be no lesser standard if you happen to be poor. These problems can be overcome. Direct Relief is a humanitarian, nonprofit health organization. The focus has been on the least fortunate, most vulnerable people. On a good day, things are tough for a lot of people in this world and in this country. And what we can do is mobilize private resources for their benefit and make it available free of charge. We're the first nonprofit in the history of the United States to obtain accreditation just like a commercial distributor. And it's been expanded geographically to every country in the world and every state and territory of the United States. What's now Direct Relief officially was started in 1948 as a private effort of a war immigrant businessman named William Zimden. The basic guiding principles of a war immigrant businessman really influence what Direct Relief has done ever since. And they begin with just serving the people who need help. We have this great privilege of engaging with people who come in from very different backgrounds, but with the same purpose of trying to just do something good. It doesn't matter if you're typing or talking on the phone or working on the warehouse floor. They're all part of an effort that means something bigger, and that is the fuel that kind of keeps you going. It gives you some sense that there is a way to make meaningful progress, even for a little organization that started at a kitchen table, but that's what provides motivation in life. The notion that many people just by virtue of where they're born, the color of their skin, the country they live in, they're going to get sicker. They're going to stay sicker longer, and they're going to die sooner. That's pretty good motivation. These issues are too big for any one organization to address. We really work hard to honor these guiding principles, invite people to participate, and we are sure thankful for the thousands of people across the country and world who have become part of Direct Relief by virtue of their participation.
Welcome back to Gamers Without Borders. I'm Jackie Jing, and I am with Jesse and Jacob and Escolinha firing back, taking their map pick Kafe, flipping the script. Okay, so Jacob, it's interesting because teams usually ban Kafe against FaZe, but Escolinha said they were up for the challenge, and it paid off for them.
We saw
7-2.
The Six Invitational, we saw Kafe. Sometimes FaZe would play it, but then teams really realized how good they are on that map. So in BR6 and Copa de Brazil, teams are like, we're not going to risk it, so we'll just ban it before FaZe ever gets the chance to play it. Now, we see this random Tier 2 team, Escolinha de Bubu, the Church of Bubu, suddenly defeats FaZe Clan on it. Their own map pick. It was a gutsy call, but they made it work.
Yeah, I was really surprised that they were able to take this one because, like, you know, you talk about FaZe being such a strong team here, and like maybe since they play it a lot, like you do expect Escolinha to be able to like fodder view that and come back and you know have all the answers. But since they hadn't played it, we actually didn't have any relevant VODs for FaZe Clan. So maybe just a little bit out of practice, not able to pull this one back. I was curious, how strong they really were on this map. So I went back to the last game that FaZe Clan actually won on Kafe, and that was lower bracket semifinals of SI. And I looked at my notes for that game against MIBR. And I actually wrote down that like FaZe were getting punished on a lot of their creative pushes that they were bringing out. They had to win a lot of clutches to win that game. So maybe there was, not as strong of a record as we were perceiving it. The numbers don't lie. It was still very good statistically, but maybe there were some cracks the whole time and nobody just figured it out until Escolinha.
And Jesse, the Blackbeard appearance. We gotta talk about that.
Yeah, for a while that was looking like the only round that FaZe Clan were gonna get on attack, right? They managed to rock the Blackbeard alongside the Osa, and I thought that was really smart because like I've never actually seen that before. But if you got a Blackbeard standing behind an Osa shield, you can see the entire body, but you can't shoot any of it. So I thought it was a creative way to play Blackbeard. They ended up pushing past the shield down Red Hall for the kitchen take on round 3, and the Blackbeard got a kill. They ended up winning that round. I don't know if the actual combo came into play too much, but it was still really neat to see it. A neat idea that got FaZe Clan, got FaZe around at least once.
Okay, well, let's get to map 3 and get things rolling here. And Ollie and Demo, take it away. By the way, Demo told me that B-Boop isn't real, but I know he is. So B-Boop, take us to the basement. Thank you. How rude of them.
I just feel that that's twisted words, Demo. Twisted words. I don't think you've been fairly represented there. We know that this character isn't real.
Somebody checking her, please. I worry.
Jackie, I hope you're okay. Now, we are going to get stuck into this third and be careful now. We can't be letting that cat out of the bag. We're going to jump now into the third and final map here inside of this best of 3. I'll be honest, I didn't think that we would get to Villa, but Demo, here we are.
Here we are indeed. Villa. Map which... not the biggest fan of playing wise, Don't like playing it. But watching it, it's alright. It's okay. Better maps out there, but that's okay.
I mean, at what level do you play it, Demo? I've seen you play like some random 10-mans and it just never go too well. So, yeah. It's a difficult map to play if you're not coordinated.
It's not that. I feel as if... Do you not think Villa's a little bit repetitive at this stage? I feel as if we see the same game of Villa every day.
I don't feel like it's any more repetitive than any other map.
But there isn't really too many different ways you can attack a site these days. Like, it's very Clubhouse-esque, in a way, in my opinion. Where there isn't really anything that's going to surprise you.
I think, obviously, new operators coming in is something that could have a bit more of an effect on that. We are going to cut to a short rehost. Apologies. We are going to get magically brought back in here.
Look at your mic on.
Honestly, the best thing about this set is that this microphone arm looks like it's... it actually is, really. I mean, I'm going to let you into the secret. But it looks like it's the arm that brings my screen in as well.
See, mine's on the other side, so it doesn't work.
Yeah, maybe you need to change it around for next game. I think that would probably be a good idea. Then we'd be
change your around, mess your setup up.
My setup's solid. Don't be dissing. We are going to get set up into this game. I think there was one of the players from FaZe or something like that struggled to join in. I didn't actually quite get a chance to read exactly what cameraman had written there in the chat. But as soon as we get the lobby all set up and ready to go, we will be headed back in. Demo made an extremely bold claim. Demo, talk to me. Now, while I do agree with some of the things that you said, Villa can be a little bit repetitive in the sense that there is a clear defined meta of how to approach it. What would you do differently, or what would you change? Because, you know, we all know the script. Attackers go in from below. Vertical grenades are huge. It really is the entirety of this map's identity now. I don't think that there's another map where vert nades have that much of an impact as on Villa. They got impacts on every map, but Villa really seems to be the hot one. Is that not something that entertains you? Because I love a good old vertical nade. I love an up nade.
See, I don't think there's much you can do against it. I'm surprised that we've seen these vertical nades come in for such a long time. You know, it's been the kind of go-to meta for quite a while. And nobody has kind of cracked a roam hold downstairs. That's something that's never really been done. Very similar to how you kind of looked at Clubhouse back in the day before SSG invented their roam game. We need a team to come in and do that, I think. I think that's what's kind of lacking. Whenever you look at Aviator in games, if you just sit and give the attackers all that downstairs control, you're just going to die on sight. That's what's going to happen to you. So I think someone needs to crack the case of how do we roam? How do we actually set up a viable roam game downstairs?
Let's do it right now, and let's include the basement, because the basement on Villa is somewhere that is incredibly underutilized. It's a large portion of the map that seldom really sees any playtime. You'll get the occasional defender rotating through, you'll get someone hiding out up in there for the start of a round, but on the whole, it is fairly underutilized. It would be nice to see it, maybe have an option to approach the basement more from sort of the main stairs area of things and just link those two areas of the map even further, red stairs and main. I think that a change like that would really have a big impact on being able to deal with the way that these vertical nades play out on the attack, because it, as you say, it is something that's very difficult to deal with. Will we see Azami inside of this game? Escolinha, they have been keen Azami banners. I'm a little bit gutted because I was one of the things that I was really looking forward to not only was getting back on the mic and casting a little bit of Siege, but it was being able to see Azami in play, because we've theory crafted for ages now as to how we're going to see it, and obviously we're not going to get to see it in its fullest or to its full potential here, but we want to get a glimpse, don't we?
I suppose it's just...
You don't want a glimpse?
See, I don't think she's going to be as...
Naysayer.
Hyped up as what people may think. I think she's going to be okay. I don't know if she warrants a ban. I don't think she's that level. I think we'll see her in some cases, but I still think every time a new operator gets added into the game, I always ask myself, okay, who does that replace from a main staple 5-man lineup that we see? That's why I always look at it. What operator do you remove? What operator do you add in? That's the way I look at things.
It's true. I think that the defenders don't have the most flexibility at the moment. There's a little bit of flexibility in there, depending on where you are and what site you're going to be trying to defend. But Azami has got such real. It's very rare that we've really had somebody that can adjust the map in a positive way, and I don't necessarily mean in a good way. I just mean you giving something to the map as opposed to taking it away. Everybody else takes something away: a shotgun, a C4, an impact grenade. That's all destruction. It's all removing parts of the map. Castle, you could argue, add something. Mirror as well, add something. You add a window, or you add a bit of a better door, if you will. If you're going to be a castle, you add a barricade. But really, with Azami, it's about that flexibility of being able to add something, but add it anyway. You're not restricted to a wall surface or a door hole where the door would be, a doorway. I'd like to see a little bit of Azami maybe here. I don't know how the bans would go for a Villa. Valkyrie has already been something that's been allowed through today, so I wouldn't be surprised to see that through again. Obviously, the mirror is going to be a big one. I would imagine that we see the mirror removed here as well, as there's quite a few opportunities there. Although, as we've already mentioned, it is still fairly easy to deal with. That's kind of the ringtone for Villa. So here we are back on into the game. Thank you for bearing with us during that short break while we just got the teams all settled in. FaZe to start off on the defense here. As such, they get the first ban.
Come on, what's it going to be? Ooh. We talk about throwbacks. Roll back the years. A Lion ban. Haven't seen that in quite some time. Lion's okay, but he's not that good. Let's be real. Not worth a ban, in my opinion, but there he is. Thatcher, no surprise. Escolinha, moment of truth. Will we see the Azami let through, or will it be another staple ban? A staple.
It's not a staple. We don't want to be throwing out there that Azami's a staple ban.
Feels as if you've just lost part of your soul there with that ban.
It needs to be used. It needs to be explored. It needs to be, we need to be bored of seeing it. I want to see every conceivable placement. The Lion ban piques my interest quite a lot. Because as an attack, as the defending team, what do you want to remove, realistically? You know that they're probably going to remove a Thatcher. Sure, you could remove a little bit of Breach. Sure, you could remove something like a Finker and really try and play with Hashi, because Hashi's been a big reason as to why a couple of these rounds have gone into the favour of Escolinha. But to remove the Lion was something we saw used by Escolinha when they were trying to build that confidence up and play that aggressive style. FaZe thinking that it warrants a ban. We'll never really get to know if that was the right choice or not at least until we get to the end of this map. This is for all the marbles. Both of these two teams have one map apiece already. FaZe, they were successful on Bank. Escolinha, they were successful over on Kafe. And here we come to Villa to decide the whole thing.
Here we go. Kicking things off in towards our kitchen defense. It's always weird sometimes, I think, to see like kitchen right off the rip sometimes. Remember, Aviator in games is always the favorite bomb site, but I suppose if you're FaZe, you're probably thinking, we're gonna win all these bomb sites anyway, so we may as well start with kitchen.
I think kitchen, it has become a lot more popular. I mean, is there any real first choice bomb site on Villa? I don't feel like there is. I feel like the popular the three go-tos, are pretty much all equal in terms of preference from defending teams. We see teams start downstairs in kitchen. We see them start... I'd probably say Statuary is maybe one of the weaker ones, although it is still gone to fairly frequently. Bans and picks do come into that as well, of course. FaZe, for this site at least, opting to not bring the mirror, but I wouldn't be surprised to see it when we start to make those rotations. Instead, what they have brought is quite a lot of utility, quite a lot of information. We've got a bulletproof camera on Astro, we've also got Cyber on the Valkyrie, and Cameraman on the good old Pulse. So there is going to be no excuse for being caught flat-footed here.
IQ. A lot of information being gathered, a lot of utility. I hope they're not just going to try and walk into the bomb site. This is going to be very risky if they go for it. Cameraman has that information. The C4 and an aid will both meet each other. A head-on collision with the explosives. They knock out each other. That will open up the wall. Nade was there to try and eliminate the mute jammer, and well, that's successful. So they have an area that they can now start to work on and trying to find some picks. But Cyber, a nice long angle. Look at that. The hole's being opened up. It will feed him a kill. It's now 4 versus 5. Hashi goes down. Nade's off the board, more importantly.
Cyber willing to play aggressive here, and it's going to be rewarded. Takes down a second, removing the buck. That's going to be a lot of the soft destruction. Hates has still got a couple of those breaching charges if he should require. Cons, able to find himself one. He's pretty much got himself into the site there, but Cyber is just raining terror. Whenever I think of Villa, I always think back to a particularly good game for Cyber on this map, where I think he picked up sort of 25 kills there or thereabouts. He's at least not going to pick any more up in this round. Cons finds the shutdown, starts to try and get this diffuser down. 20 seconds left, does actually come off it. I feel like he probably could have got that down there, but don't forget, cameraman is going to be on the pulse, so should be able to at least give a call out to Astro as to where this plant has gone down. But these two defenders are going to be fairly well played together, not looking to take any chances here. Astro and cameraman moving in back to back. They've got an idea as to where Cons is. It's not going to be an easy challenge. Cons now has to try and move up. Lasergate reactivated, but it's not going to matter. Cameraman has to do it all and does. Picks up that final kill. All of that to come down to a 1 versus 1 demo. That was a lot closer than it should have been.
Very, very shaky from FaZe. Allowing Cons in that environment to do what he's just done is big surprise. Big surprise. Yeah. Just really caught me by surprise. I thought FaZe had that unlocked. Cyber's done so well. Nice double kill. Really, at that stage, you're thinking, yeah, it's easy. It goes into a 1v3, but even to get to a 1v1 with diffuser going down as well, yeah, it's surprising from FaZe, but win's a win. No matter how you get it, as long as you win, that's all that matters.
This is as good a start as FaZe could hope for. They didn't have the greatest start over on Kafe, and it almost followed them for the whole map. FaZe are a team that are experienced enough to not let something like that shake them, but from time to time you do just have to sit and wonder. Here on Villa, however, they have come up trumps, picking up the first round, and it came down to a bit of a clutch. They'll recognise that it wasn't as clean as it potentially could have been. Hopefully for them, recognise that while they may have not have got lucky, air quotes, in the end, it still wasn't a guarantee. We're going to switch things up, take us upstairs to trophy and statuary. Still no mirror being played. This is certainly one of the sites I would have expected FaZe to bring that mirror.
FaZe, what have you got in store with the trophy statuary? What are you going to show us? It's a fairly standard lineup as well. It's kind of what we're used to seeing, I think, in Villa. You have at least 2 operators who are there for denial, that being the Jaeger and also the Aruni. Sometimes it's either Aruni or the Wamai is probably the 2 go-tos that we have. You have denial coming in from the smoke. Mute is just such a key operator, I think, for every... Mute must be up there as one of the most flexibles alongside smoke. Has to be.
I mean, the common denominator there is the SMG, right? As soon as Mute gets the SMG, he becomes a machine. Quite literally a machine pistol. But it becomes so much more popular to play as you've got that level of flexibility now. You can bring the shotgun and you're not disadvantaged. Say that. One of the SAS defenders is going to be taken out nice early. Cyber on the smoke as well, inside of the first half of the round. Really not ideal. Hashi going to be waiting for a little bit of information here. He knows the drone's gone up and Bullet has given the game away, but Bullet chooses instead to stand firm. Doesn't want to give the game away all the ground of those main stairs. as it is just such an important place to be, but does have to dip on off a little bit. It does leave quite a lot of exposure, and Cameraman is going to be tasked with keeping an eye on that flank. With the site being trophy statuary, FaZe aren't in a terrible situation, given that they've been able to burn quite a bit of time here.
It is still like time. Escolinha struggled whenever we seen them on the first map inside a bank. It was very slow. They're almost waiting for FaZe to make mistakes, but FaZe were giving them nothing. Maybe we can see similarities starting to form, because time is a key element of Villa. A lot of utility, similar to what we see on Bank. It takes a while to set things up, get walls open. Quite the opposite of Kafe, where walls never get opened at all. Did we see a single wall, apart from maybe the kitchen defense, get opened up? I don't think we did. So that kind of shows you how that favored Escolinha maybe a little bit more, but certainly in these slower paced maps, this is where FaZe can really come into their element. 2 kills, fire out from them. Diffuser's going to be just drop cold, almost in the middle of the jump in where the breach is. A 3 versus 3 as Astro Control is in favor of the attackers. Are starting to move their way through into the bomb site. Diffuser's going to be picked up now, and they will try and go for the plant. Where's the denial? Where are FaZe Clan? How are they letting this happen?
Well, Astro's C4 swung and missed, and Vitsking was there to take him down. Cameraman finds himself one, tries to drop shot onto Hassi, but instead it is a 1-for-1 trade. Bullet left in the clutch, full white flash and taking damage here. Default plant has gone down, and Bullet is going to know that. There's going to be a bulletproof camera over his right shoulder, so it is going to be able to call out and give a bit of information should Florio give himself away here, but he has only one door to watch and is able to secure that kill easily.
FaZe, nobody home. Nobody home.
It was looking good at this point. I honestly thought when Souls picked up that first kill, I was like, oh, it could be on here for FaZe. Like, they're not in the greatest position. There was a heavy stack up at the top of Red Stairs. They kind of lingered when they roamed over toward AVG in the first half of the map, and they never really got themselves back. It was only Cameraman that made a full rotation up Astro Stairs, but even then it was just a bit late.
I just think that FaZe got a little bit stuck in the mud. All of them kind of grouping up, no real pressure. I think we've seen one guy retake Astro, but it was way too late, way too late. So you needed to kind of have the ignition on, ready to go. So yeah, I just think FaZe just kind of backed off whenever they didn't need to. I think they needed to apply the pressure. Escolinha were trying to flood through. You need to fight that fire with fire. You need to fight back. Don't give them site control. See Mira makes an appearance. What have they got in store? So 2 mirror windows, one looking in towards bedroom, one looking in towards Astro. Should be easy enough to kind of open up. Both of them vertical, go below, nade them from below, whatever you need to do. That's going to be easy. It's just how can Escolinha approach that? That is totally up to them. The mirror windows are there, they know where they are. How do they play against it?
I think FaZe need to be setting more of these mini-games and puzzles for Escolinha to solve during the round, because we've seen on Bank how slow Escolinha can be, especially when they've got a little bit of something to deal with. Now, granted, that's going to be 2 mirror windows dealt with 1 shock drone in the first 45 seconds of the round, because FaZe are just sat there staring at the wall. That's now really not worth, and that has been dealt with. Can FaZe salvage this and still use it as a bit of a power position? Only time will tell, certainly. For Bullet, he's not going to be involved in any sort of retake, as Hates is going to be there to shut him down. Upside down on the rappel is an almost impossible angle to challenge. Previous to that, Cameraman traded 1-for-1 with Vitsking, but still an advantage here for Escolinha, and they've not expended too much to get it.
No, I think that FaZe Clan, they've tried to apply that aggression, but it just hasn't worked for them. And I think that whenever you kind of look at FaZe Clan and how they've kind of approached playing against Escolinha, they have been quite passive for FaZe's well-being. I think FaZe are known for being a little bit more aggressive than what they currently are showing. We usually see them get a few more entry. I think the entry stats has been really surprising for FaZe Clan this matchup. So probably the only thing you'd worry about.
FaZe still sort of playing that loose game where they're not really in position to trade off one another. I'm not sure if that's an intentional thing or a bit of a problem that they're looking to try and work on here in this game, because so far we're not seeing too great a deal of success with it. Cyber, he's got himself tucked into the corner. He's going to get spotted out there on the Flores drone. Instead chooses to run out. Fortunately for Escolinha, Flores is being covered and Cyber finds himself in no man's land. Cons is able to shut him down all the way through the site. Astro has now got a lot of kills here to find. Picks up 2 and the diffuser's cold. Souls, can you hold on? Hashi has recovered the diffuser and is going to be planting on maps. Still the small fact of the Flores to deal with as well, and Souls is starved for information. Picks up a great kill over onto the Flores, and a second. Souls! This is the player that we know him to be. Clutches out on 1 HP. Plenty of time to disable that diffuser. That is a big, big round for FaZe.
It's just a training session, isn't it, for him? He does that in his sleep. Does that in his sleep. Just, yeah. Best support.
It's one of your favorite players?
Best support. Just best. That's it. Just the best support. That's him right there.
Keep Souls on the smoke, that's all I'll say. Cyber played the smoke, he was dead in the first 30 seconds. Souls plays the smoke, he clutches out the 2 versus 1.
You say that, and
Defenders, protect your bombs from being
look at what he's on now. Back on,
upgraded himself.
Back on over to the Melusi.
We love a bit of Melusi.
She's okay.
Melusi's just really straightforward to play. I think that's why I gravitate toward Melusi a little bit. Just because there's never a lot to do mid-round. You place your bulletproof camera, you place 3 Banshees, and then you just find a corner to sit in.
Still a free speed as well. So I think whenever you're on that Melusi, you still have to get out and about. You need to get active.
Get slippy.
Attackers are heading out to defuse a bomb.
A bit slippy.
Who's the slippiest member of FaZe?
Oh, who's actually slippy? Probably Astro.
I think Astro can be quite slippy.
I'd say Astro's probably the slippiest.
I'm not sure why Astro's changed his name. There's no W on there typically.
Yeah, I didn't even notice that.
I'm not sure if it's a bit of a diss to like
Astro.
Not a diss, but like a bit of a nod to like British casters that just can't pronounce zeros at the end of stuff and just end up going O.
We'll never know.
We all say Astro. We don't say Astro.
I don't think we'll.
I don't think we'll ever know. I might message him, see if he has a response.
Yeah, have a go.
See if he just says, yeah, it was because I knew that Demo would be casting us, and he always says Astro.
Oh, why have I just caught a stray bullet there? What's going on? God's trying to open up that same wall. He needs something over grenades. Last time they were able to get it open with ease, and looks as if they've also done it, I think maybe via Twitch drone this time. So that's a good pickup, having that Twitch come in. So now Cyber has the shotgun, of course, can play a smoke-like role with the gun, but we just know it's not going to hit the same.
Yeah, there seems to be a bit of a curse on FaZe with whoever plays smoke, if it's not Souls, is going to die in the first minute or at least first blood. And that's happened again with Cameraman. He died way further back at the start of this round. Cyber looking maybe to play a little bit more aggressively, but he knows he's getting pinched. There's going to be a player making that rotation up from the basement. Astro has quickly put a stop to that. We saw the yellow ping come through as Cyber was dipping himself out of laundry. Cons just trying to hold any players here that might be looking to rotate and get a little bit aggressive. He's going to take a huge chunk of damage for his troubles, though. Cyber, right place at the right time, activates the glasses, realizes that laundry's clear and decides to take a little bit more, but Hashi, he's got him pinned down now. Bullet He's going to be there with the exchange. There's some very complicated crossfires being initiated here from FaZe and plenty of information to boot as well. Bullet with the final 2 there. Just gets a glimpse of the gun and figures that something's just out of place.
Yeah, just a gun barrel, and that's enough for him to lock on. It's FaZe. Bit of momentum. Starting to roll now, aren't they, Ollie? And this is where FaZe, I think, are at their scariest. Momentum-based team, you know, through and through. Obviously, we know they're a scrappy team. They can fight it out as well as anyone else, but you give this team an inch, they take a mile. We've seen that time, and they're I can't speak more highly than this team. I just can't. I really cannot. What have I become?
You've become a massive shill.
Like, what am I?
Like, I'm a shill for a couple of teams, but not to this extent.
I just have. Hold on, I need to go get a mirror. Hold on, I need to look myself in the face. Just like this.
Look yourself in the eyes and just realise what you just said.
That's a long, hard look at myself.
For anyone, I mean, no one probably cares, but Demo was so excited when he found out that we were casting FaZe that he actually sent me the photo that he's got of him with all of the FaZe clan members.
FaZe up.
And everyone's dropping the FaZe up.
Don't tell anyone that I don't own a FaZe jersey, but I have a Liquid jersey.
I mean, just in case I was ever confused as to how biased you were going to be tonight on the cast, that kind of cemented it for me.
Oh.
I'll tell you what would be good, a FaZe up emoji.
Oh my goodness.
I need to get working on that, because that would be incredible.
Anywho, maybe we should go back to the cast, perhaps. Oh, don't talk about my love life. Escolinha need some rounds back here. Need to see if they can get something rocking on the attack. I mean, Villa, as people will still say, oh, it's defender-sided. I think it's even these days. I still think it's a 50-50 split. I really do. I think there's strengths to both camps in terms of what you can really showcase. So, yeah, I think that either team have a good chance no matter what side you're attacking or defending on.
I think I could be wrong in this, but I was looking at stats from the major, and I'm pretty sure that attackers won the majority of the rounds at the major. But it was sort of like it was 50, you know, it was 51-49 sort of territory. It was, you know, for the sample size, it was as good as 50-50, but it wasn't as biased or as one-sided as, you know, it has been in the past. And I think that Villa follows that trend as well. I don't feel like we saw an enormous amount of Villa at the major, but
it was defender-sided.
Siege in itself is becoming more 50-50, I think. And there's certainly been opportunity here for Escolinha. You think back to one of the rounds that FaZe has got on the board here was a clutch. It was a 2v1 from Souls. So they've had plenty of opportunity.
That's what Cyber going to be doing on those back Astro stairs. Has that SMG in hand, of course. And there was a lot of pressure, I believe, last time from Escolinha. They flooded into Astro with ease. And, well, speaking of not the room, but the player, Astro, will find the first kill for FaZe in this round. Takes down the Ian, a good pickup. Vicky, we know, can make quite some big plays, as we showcased already during today's festivities, Ollie. So it's a good pick for Astro to get. Ooh, great information from the Twitch only placed up on the skylight. That will look straight down into almost both the bomb sites and just feed constant information now for that side onto the player inside of the inside of the trophy room.
Time again being a factor here from Escolinha as well. 20 seconds left to go, 4 versus 4. It's quite a 5v5, but it's almost as good as Cons is trying to find something. But look at the exposure that he's got. Doesn't know which way to turn. Souls is in position to shut him down, but Escolinha respond with a couple of kills of their own. The diffuser, however, is going to be cold. Nobody in position to get that down right now. Florio, you've got 1 second to do so, and he starts. Cyber is going to be below. Needs to try and deny this plan. He's got the ping, but the holes weren't there. The barricade was closed. Nothing was going his way. Now he's giving himself up, and he knows that he's got a long, hard retake ahead of him here. Aggressively pushes on up. Look at the confidence of this man. He's not even 30 HP, and he's still looking to aggressively challenge on in. He knows there's only one way to get this done. He's got 4 opponents to find. Picks up the first 1-3, excuse me. He's still got Hates and Florio to deal with. Hates head glitching through on the side of Trophy. Almost, Cyber. Very nearly almost. It would have been beautiful if you could have denied it from below with the shotgun. The information was there.
Well, it was an almost from Cyber, but still very far off. Had to find 2 more players, but at least he almost had the denial, or didn't he? Ollie, he was about 1 second out. I'm surprised that FaZe has just let that happen again. Just clear bomb site control from Escolinha. FaZe have not been putting up a fight on that side of the map. I'm really, really surprised.
It was a 1 second round, really, wasn't it? The diffuser got put down with 1 second left. Cyber nearly denied it with around 1 second left. There was just so much going on that came down to a knife's edge. This time it was Escolinha to come away on the winning side of things. Still opportunity for this to be a 3-3 split here. Look at these extended reinforcements that Cameraman's placed all the way downstairs. He's really looking to hold far and wide here. I'm curious where this second window will go, and it will go looking into library there. You mentioned, Demo, about the, nades from below being such a staple. There's only 1 set. Hashi. He's got 2. Sure, we've got cons on the Zephyr, but there isn't that 6 nade threat that we often see. But to be honest, it looks as though FaZe were expecting a lot of presence down here. Look at how much utility they've invested in setup.
It's this kind of extension that it's something I wanted to see, Ollie, wasn't it? And I'm kind of looking at it and thinking, is it going to work? Is it going to be good enough? And I mean, Souls has actually found the first pick up. That's a very default position. That's nothing new. We've seen that plenty of times before, but certainly this pressure coming in from below. I am very surprised that FaZe have kind of went for this. Seems to be working at the moment. It has kind of stunned Escolinha, looking at it thinking, okay, what do we think? What do we go for here? So what I asked, Ollie, it seems to be coming to fruition.
Well, ask Demo and you shall receive. Hashi, looking to make a bit of an entry now. Entirely unaware of where Cameraman is. He's waiting for the drone to work on ahead of him. Cameraman, the age-old problem of trying to walk backwards through a door and the door has shifted 3 feet to your right or left. Vitaking going to be the one to shut Cameraman down. Hashi making that pinch work as well. Time again has been burnt, but bullet is going to be pretty low. No nades left, but still the threat of the skeleton key from below, and that's demonstrated there. Astro stood on a box inside of the vault, not wanting to take any unnecessary damage here.
This roam game has worked really well. It slowed down the approach massively from Escolinha. Look how much time they're left with to really start picking away at this bomb site. 90 control still in favor of FaZe. Can't even bullet on a sliver of HP that he is. He can still apply some pressure. Man, Souls, he's going to be the key right now for FaZe. If he's alive, we know what he can do. We know how he can perform. So keep him alive. They should have no issues whatsoever. Astro has been looking for that kill for ages and finally will get it. I thought it was about to go lacking. Bullet doesn't see the man in the smoke. He's right there. He's right. He sees, surely you see him. There you go.
Goodness gracious me.
He's just there the entire time.
He must have some weird color contrast on his monitor or something like that. It was a bit less obvious without the red outline.
Cheating.
I will give him that. The red outline does give us a little bit of an edge. It's not much of an edge, but it's a bit of an edge.
Oh. FaZe, 4-2. Good half, good half. Kind of standard, expected, I would say. So now Escolinha get the defense. They'll be happy to have this. surprised that we're not seeing the mirror come out. It was an operator that we've seen them use to great effect, and FaZe struggled with it quite heavily. Ollie on Kafe was against the mirror window, but not seeing it here now in Villa. Bit of a surprise. Maybe they look at it as it's easier to open up the mirror windows on Villa than what it is in Kafe. And is it really worth it whenever FaZe are a team that we know they'll go below? They'll use the nades. They have Sophia. They'll go for that vertical approach. So maybe they look at it and think, it's not worth it.
10 seconds left before
4-2 split as well. FaZe coming out here with, I mean, it feels like a slight advantage with how close some of these rounds have been, Demo. It's by no means been a clear, you know, one way or another. We could be sat here at 3-3 very easily. Could even be sat here at 4-2 to Escolinha with the way that some of them have gone. I really feel like Escolinha feel like they've got a chance. You know, the Bank game, they were never really in it on Bank. But certainly on Kafe, obviously they won Kafe. And definitely here on Villa, they have been contesting. It really all does have to depend on what happens here at this side switch. Sol's going to be first on through. Sophia LMG in hand, and he's looking to try and make good on a bit of information that is ahead of him. Knows that there's somebody inside of Statuary and can try and shut him down. Gets caught out there on the Banshee, but it's going to be Cyber to do the dirty work for him, as he's already found himself two. The LMG's at the forefront of this attacking push.
Quite clear cut at the moment for FaZe. What you expect to see. Cyber walks in, that LMG just, yeah, FaZe clan flawless. Just, what can you say, Ollie? It's just, that's clinical, that's Cyber and the LMG.
It looks dangerous, doesn't it? You got Cyber on the LMG, you've got Souls on the LMG, and they just walk in Terminator style. You know, bullets flying around them, but they've just got this sort of aura of invincibility. Nothing connects, nothing lands. And what was looking like a fairly close game when Escolinha were on the attack has now turned into something that is not quite looking landslidey, but 5-2. We need to find a round pretty soon.
Yeah,
back
this is the third
to the same site. It starts to, you start to worry a little bit, Demo.
Yeah, we've seen 5-2 over on Bank, 5-2 on Kafe, 5-2 in Villa. And all those matches ended up 7-2. Will this be the same? 7-2, 7-2, G2, sorry.
6-2 G2.
Classic.
10 seconds to go.
I thought you were giving me a sweet then.
5 seconds to insert.
That's actually a Medic's classic.
Yeah?
Medic's
drops a little mid-cast sweet.
He does. Whenever somebody does like a play and he's observing, he'll like, he doesn't scream it. He just says in a very monotone voice. He just says that.
Brilliant.
That's just him.
Maybe we give it a go.
No.
I might ad-lib it. Just be prepared.
We'll see. We'll see. So, FaZe clan kick things off with a good start on the attack. Same bomb site to attack. I would say they'll not change much. I think it'll be pretty clear-cut, moving their way through things. The LMGs, Ollie, just what can you say that already hasn't been said?
Keep them. I don't think that's been said, Demo.
That's true. To be
Careful
fair,
what you wish
somebody
for.
the other day actually said, you know what, I like the LMG meta. He got ratioed very quickly. So, yeah. Oh my goodness, the LMG is actually starting to fail right now, Ollie. Both of them off the board. 3 kills. Hashi going nuclear inside a trophy. Viking finds another. What has happened to FaZe? They've tried to aggress onto this extension towards trophy statuary, and they have been put in the bin.
Who needs more than 100 bullets? You only need 1 for a headshot.
True. So true.
And that is exactly where we found ourselves in this round. Well and truly Hashi season. Bullet honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if he just waits the entire round looking through this window. There isn't a lot of pressure on FaZe at the moment. If they lose this round, it is what it is. He's going to hop himself in and give it a go. Very little expectation on him from here on out, though. Escolinha, the pressure is almost on them to just ensure that they don't mess this up. Everybody stacked inside of the site. We've got Cons going to be playing just in and around default. Looking to aggress ever so slightly, see if there's anything he can gather. Bullet's going to have a tough time splitting these into 1 versus 1s, and that's the biggest difficulty here. No nades left either. Can try and duke out with a Gemini clone, but realistically, it's only ever going to end one way. Cons hits him with the swing. Bit of an unorthodox place to appear from. Bullet, not quite ready for it. Escolinha grabbed themselves a round, and it is very much needed.
Yeah, we're just waiting for that round to fizzle out, weren't we, Ollie? Just took a bit of time, but Escolinha sees it over the finish line. Trophy Statuary is where we head to next up. FaZe Clan have not attacked this as of yet, so no experience for them. In terms of lineup changes, not much. Again, just a lot of LMGs being brought in, plenty of nades. Can't really go wrong with the lineup. We see a Kapkan being chosen, Ollie. That's something that we have to talk about. Kapkan, an operator that you asked me about maybe 6 months ago. Hated this operator, detested this operator. He's not so bad, not so bad.
Have you become a Kapkan crutch?
One man who changed my opinion on Kapkan.
Have you learnt the ways of kills from the grave?
You know who he is.
Yeah.
Well, not mentioned.
Kapkan is incredible. If anybody can, Kapkan. That's exactly what Escolinha said in Portuguese at the start of this round.
Did they?
As a team, they said it as one person.
We'll see. We'll see. I mean, I think whenever you're playing against a team who has notorious crouch walkers, Kapkan's a great pickup. You know, notorious players, will just be lurking in around. You're looking at, obviously I'm going from an EU perspective, you're looking at players like Mowgli, comes to mind. Tyrant would probably be another one. These lone wolf players who you can maybe just catch by surprise.
And it forces you to do a much more thorough job of your drone work. You can't afford to be sloppy. As soon as you see the Kapkan trap, that's it. You need to, make that known. There's one way of dealing with them is nades. You can also deal a ton of damage onto the mute as well. More nades getting sent in. Mute just trying to get himself an angle onto the window to try and work with. Astro spent both of his nades so far. He did manage to destroy a good number of the EDDs with that as well. But again, FaZe not looking to overcommit here. They want to get themselves a pick. They want to get themselves a little bit of something before they just go bold as brass straight on in, hopping into windows.
.5-5, nobody off the board yet, which is a big surprise just with how this game has went between both of these sides. They've been very feisty in those opening engagements. Oh, as I say that, there goes the opening engagement in favor of FaZe. Cyber has that big LMG. Pre-fired actually the wrong way. He was getting shot from the landing, not towards the zombie door. And Astro's actually been faulted, I think, from that bad information. Really surprised decision-making there from FaZe that, they didn't know what was happening over here. Souls will find one, and look at the players from Escolinha, Ollie. They're actually not even in the bomb site. We can see FaZe just strut in and try and get this plant down as quick as they can.
Looks as though that's what Cameraman's going to angle himself for here. Uses the Selmas to just make that breach a little bit more manageable. Cyber could come to blows downstairs. He had an inkling that someone was there, but just suffered from the timing. Bitter King allowed to pick him up and make that rotation back through a great nade from Souls, but The fall of Cameraman means the fall of the diffuser. On the threshold into the breach, there's a very unkind piece of metal that has remained, and it's making it very difficult to transition from bedroom into statuary. Hashi is going to be taken down by Bullet as he just has one too many angles to choose from, and Souls picks up the final kill. Bitter King might have got the better of Cyber downstairs, but he won't get the better of Souls up.
Souls up, FaZe up. Right now, it's match point, series point for FaZe. A little bit worried there, Ollie. Like you said, there was a strip of metal that the ace Selma could not catch, and yeah, it was really worrying for a moment there, wasn't it? I thought, oh.
As a FaZe fan, were you worried?
I was. but thankfully, nobody was in Asher, so Bullock just walk into the site and kill the guy.
As simple as that. FaZe, match point. To advance on inside of our bracket. Escolinha, it is do or die time. Whether you choose to take us downstairs into kitchen is going to be the site of choice. Now they're going to stick with the Capcom pick demo. I didn't see a great deal of value out of the Capcom previously, but in this instance, it's going to be a C4, and that's more than likely why Capcom is being selected. If you look across at the lineup as a whole, you've got the Pulse, of course, Heartbeat Scanner able to call out that information. Mozzie, C4, Mute, C4. You kind of get the picture. The only thing maybe that the lineup is lacking a little bit is maybe a bit of info. Think back to how FaZe played this site. They will bring in, what did they bring? They brought the Valkyrie. They also brought bulletproof cameras. They had the Pulse. They had everything going for them.
One more round. Can FaZe do it? I would say they have a good safety net at least. All they if they trip, if they fall, they're okay. But at the moment, I think FaZe. Would you see them trip now, Ollie? I don't think so.
It'd be more than a trip, wouldn't it?
I think they'll come in here. I think they'll attack this kitchen well. I think they'll screw their heads on for it. You know, you look at the setup upstairs from Escolinha. There's a Pulse. FaZe play the Pulse. They know how to play against that. That's something that's not going to surprise them. As long as they can just get this open engagement sorted, as long as they can clear out these roamers upstairs, they'll have no issues at all. They have the sledge. They have that vertical pressure. All they have to do is the entry work. A C4 kill will occur. Cyber will slip in now in towards Statue. Is the Pulse going to give some information? Can he find Cyber to feed that information through? And oh, FaZe! What a disaster. They've lost 2 players and they haven't got any kills for it. 3 kills. And no, not a thing. Not a thing for FaZe.
It's kind of funny how I was talking about maybe if, you know, they're bringing enough information. I mean, sure, if Pulse is going to stay in the scanner for the whole round, yeah, you're going to have the info there. And that seems to be what's happened. We've got players in fine position to take advantage of that intel. Cyber trying to get himself out of dodge. Didn't even see the Capcan trap there. There are a couple of players down here for Escolinha. It is still possible. Hashi is going to be recovered. Nade going to go out there from Cyber. He too is going to be taken on out. Souls with the hop-in just meets the inevitable. It was one of the scrappier rounds that we've seen, and it was pretty one-sided toward Escolinha.
It was indeed. But again, FaZe still have that safety net to fall back on, though, don't they? Escolinha need to do something really special. 2 more rounds to take it to overtime. If we get to overtime, Ollie, I get to say the phrase.
You do? That we are going to overtime?
We're going. What? So no, back, Tim, back. Not yet, Tim, back. And he comes out. Did you hear he came out and said that my impression of him is horrible?
Well, it is.
He doesn't rate it at all.
It is horrible.
No. How dare you?
I've had it on good authority from quite a number of people.
Who? Name them.
I can't name people.
Well, let me get a list open. Hold on. Name them now.
The naughty list. Are they going to be off the Christmas card list?
Hit list.
FaZe You can afford to drop a couple of rounds here, but you can't afford to drop too many. And by too many, I mean 2, because that would take us into an overtime. And in overtime, anything could happen. The first time we saw FaZe attack this site, and this is the most preferred site so far from Escolinha, FaZe just walked through. They were able to get into bedroom. They just walked in quite simply from bedroom all the way through Astro, all the way through statuary, and it was a flawless round. There was just no contest. I doubt we're going to see the same here, given the lineup and the fact that it is quite different to that first lineup. Astro going to attempt to get rid of the bulletproof shield, but unfortunately for him, loses the Flores drone to the mute jammer just behind. A lot of utility there to wade through, Demo.
There is indeed. Plenty of things you need to try and knock down. I mean, it's just a common lineup, isn't it? This is where, I mean, Villa, it just becomes just repetition over and over again. There ain't much difference that we really see, apart from what FaZe tried to do, Ollie, with that downstairs hold that I was a big fan of. So, other than that, it's very run-of-the-mill. FaZe, wow. Would you guess they went below to try and use vertical nades? Never. No. Shocker. This is what
FaZe are bringing
sometimes.
6.
Yeah, I could sit here and close my eyes and I'll know exactly what's happening.
If I just tell you the time in the round, you'll be able to call it.
I'm going to close my eyes and we'll see what happens, all right?
Okay. Well, Cyber is going to get a bit of damage there in on the cons. Still 3 nades to work with here for FaZe. But these up nades, they are too powerful to ignore. You have to give them a go. You don't need to be bringing the Buck. Buck is not quite archaic, but it's almost the old school way of dealing with things. Souls. Looks as though he knows somebody's playing on the hatch. He's going to attempt to take Hashi down and will do just exactly that. Puts him into a down but not out state. Ping there for the mirror, just not quite as accurate, but Souls is just going to ball on through. Anyway, a C4 flies on in, and he's going to take 2 players down. Souls attempted to shoot it out mid-air, but it was only ever going to be an attempt. A very tricky shot to pull off at that sort of close range. 45 seconds left.
I guess what happened? I'm guessing they tried to push up main stairs.
They tried to push up main stairs, but no one believes that you got your eyes closed because no one can see your Demo.
Believe me, never lie. 3v2 still.
Versus 2. I mean, there's a chance.
There's a big chance. Astro takes a bit of damage, but Cameraman is there in the follow-up. Hashi, great shot on the Astro. Diffuser will be planted. Bullet has to have the cover. There's a mirror window. Oh, he's fine. So much information that they have. Hashi probably going to try and punch it, deny that vision, but it's enough for Cameraman to go for a swing and get the final kill. FaZe Clan. Took them a while there to clean up border. Villa, apologies, but still, they managed to see it over the line. 7-4, they take that victory. Were we ever in doubt for FaZe Clan? Probably not.
I don't think they were in doubt for FaZe Clan, but you've got to give a nod to Escolinha in the way that they played, particularly on that second map. To win the second map inside of a best of 3, it's never easy if you lost the first one. Especially in the fashion that they lost Bank. It was by no means a close map. It was very one-sided to FaZe. And then they came back and did exactly the same to FaZe back. You know, they had a very one-sided Kafe in their favor, and we went into Villa not really knowing how it would go. Certainly the first 6 rounds, Demo, you could have showed me any scoreline after those first 6 rounds, and after watching the Siege, I would not have been surprised. It was scrappy, it was one way, it was the other. There was no real clear winner inside the first half, but as soon as FaZe got onto the attack, they showed us just why they are one of the best teams inside of this region.
Yeah, top tier stuff from FaZe coming in after that big break. We didn't see them the major, big shock to not see them there with just the pedigree that they've had over the past year. But yeah, they're back, they're ready to go again. But as we know, they're going to have more battles to go up against.
Absolutely. We are going to throw this back to our wonderful analyst desk to break this one down. We got Jackie, we got Jacob, and we have got Jesse. Take it away, guys.
B-Boop. Don't forget about B-Boop. Come on, guys. We're gonna
He's just letting you know, dude.
Discussion about B-Boop later. I'm so sorry, B-Boop, that you had to hear that. But we have to talk about Map 3 Villa going to FaZe. To be honest, Jacob, FaZe was better. That's about it. Escolinha put up a valiant effort, and they even took a map off of them, but it wasn't enough. So
Right, they were better, but we're talking specifically about Villa because it was a scrappy first half. It's 4-2. Villa's a map that can sometimes swing one direction or the other, but it's about being able to like persist in spite of a map being super back and forth like that. So when FaZe come out ahead at a 4-2 advantage, that's already really nice. And then, like Ollie mentioned, they switch over to the attack, they unlock the Finka, they really use their timing and their coordination to their advantage, and then they pull ahead with a victory in spite of Escolinha trying to pull their own couple of rounds back. They were only able to grab 2 on attack, 2 on defense. That simply isn't enough against the very persistent, sustained onslaught of FaZe Clan.
We are rolling the highlights right now. Jesse, I wanted to pick your brain about FaZe's usage of smoke. Sometimes they were utilizing him well, but sometimes not so much.
Yeah, I mean, as you say that, there's a highlight of Cameraman getting the opening death on smoke through a window. So I think that kind of like paints the picture, right? A lot of the rounds that we saw, like on particularly those statuary and trophy defenses, Cyber was trying to rock that smoke. And back in round number 2, I mean, he died super early and it actually hurt the team really, really badly because it ended up being a take that went in with like 20 seconds remaining. He didn't have a lot of time. And then Bubu ended up like trading out and they managed to win that round. And you've got to think like if they had some toxic babes around, maybe they could have made that one work. The only other round that they lost was also trophy stat. That was the round that Cyber was again on smoke. And I thought he did a lot better job that second time. You know, he was able to use all 3 of his toxic babes, wasted a ton of time over by the Astro side of the map, but unfortunately couldn't clutch out the 1v3, just too slow to deny the plant from down below. But then we had Souls as well playing smoke on a couple of different rounds. And I thought he did a much better job of like really falling back when the time was right, using those toxic babes late in the round 3, round 6, when they were playing AVG especially. Thought he had a really good use of those toxic babes and was able to win some really nice rounds to end it out.
Well, it was a really fun series from Escolinha and FaZe, and let's take a look at the LATAM bracket and just get everyone watching at home caught up with everything going on Stream A and Stream B. Jacob, break it down for us.
Look at that. This one's normal. Unlike the European bracket, we had both of the top tier teams actually win their best of 3s. MIBR did it 2-0. That last map, I think, was a 7-1 against Furious. It was blitzed by, it was blazing speed. So FaZe Clan and MIBR will meet tomorrow in those upper bracket finals. One of them go to the grand final with the map advantage, like we mentioned for the previous series. And Escolinha and Furious finding themselves at the bottom. Now, hopefully, that lower semi game for tomorrow is going to be a little bit more even because we saw Escolinha take a map off of FaZe Clan, whereas Furious looked like they might be able to do that in their first map against MIBR, but fell just short. So we're hoping that if we, like a non-Brazilian team is to do anything in this bracket, maybe Furious can do it against Escolinha and propel themselves further in the lower finals. But I don't know, given how they played against MIBR today.
Yeah, I love how you were like, this was a normal bracket, and then Europe was completely different story. But coming up, we got SSG versus Parabellum, so we're going to be seeing some NA action. Very excited about that. Jesse and Jacob, my little NA squad here, but
little?
Jesse, how do you...
I'm 2 inches taller than you.
Yeah, you're tall. Jesse is... not so tall. I didn't say
Why is this a
small.
topic?
I said, okay, I don't know. Let's talk about Stay Station.
He's my middle school age stepchild.
Come on, man.
Gosh, sorry, Jesse. Okay, how do you think that matchup's gonna go down? Well, don't tell me because we're gonna talk about it in a little bit because it is coming up next. So, Bubu, take us to a quick break. Thank you very much. We'll be right back. Bubu, I said take us to a break. Bubu.